Last night in Minneapolis, rioters took a DHS vehicle and they looted it. They grabbed a bunch of DHS officers' information. They exposed it online. They even grabbed a rifle from the lockbox in the back. So we're going to talk about that. Donald Trump is talking about the Insurrection Act still, and it's starting to look like that might become a reality. So we're going to talk about that. Tim is doing a hit on Fox News shortly. So we'll go ahead and grab that. And what else do we got going on? That's about it right now. So we're going to go ahead and throw it over to DeVory Darkins is our guest tonight. So why don't you go ahead and tell people about yourself?
Yeah. DeVory Darkins, political commentator. I pride myself on common sense and a more even keel analysis of what's going on in our country. I love to show both sides and let people make up their own mind.
Awesome.
Always a pleasure to see you, man. Like the last time you were on was awesome too. You have a powerful voice of reason right now, wisdom. It's very important right now. I'm at Ian Crossland. You can find me all over the internet at Ian Crossland and measure my levels of wisdom yourself. Also, while you're at it, check out Graphene.movie. The trailer's up. It's looking hot. The movie's coming soon. It's a great nanotech doc. If you wonder what's coming in the next 10 years, this will give you a head start. Graphene.movie, sign up for the mailing list. And remember, at Ian Crossland is where you get your lucky charms.
Let's go. What's up, Patriots? Tate Brown here holding it down. So good to see DeVory, because usually I'm seeing the beginning of your stream, because a lot of people in the audience, if you're watching the noon live, this is kind of weird. This is kind of like a Marvel crossover. If you're like a soyed out millennial, you love the Marvel crossovers, you're getting really hype right now seeing this crossover. So I'm usually throwing it to DeVory. So DeVory, I want to apologize for sending so many like schizophrenic people into your chat. That's like completely my fault. So I'm
No.
It's a hand up
I'm
moment.
very grateful.
Let's go.
You basically, your audience raided DeVory's
we
audience?
We raid. Like,
Really?
you know, raid's like, oh, yeah, you send the link. No, we raid.
Do you raid with purpose?
Yeah, like it literally looks like The Hobbit when
like
the different
Vikings,
clans like come together. It's kind of like that.
Tate, I just noticed that like when you do the Tate Brown holding it down, my kid does the same thing. Like whenever I bump his crib, he does this thing.
He's a good kid.
He's a great kid.
Patriot.
All right, so smash the like button, share the show with your friends. We're going to jump right into it. From the Dallas Express, video captures Minneapolis rioters looting DHS vehicles, exposing agent info online. Agitators in Minneapolis continue to wreak havoc, now allegedly breaking into multiple ICE vehicles late Wednesday night, stealing guns, ammunition, and sensitive government documents, including arrest warrants and personal information on federal agents. The crimes captured on video and in live streams circulating across social media spotlight the continued destruction from violent rioters against federal law enforcement agents, specifically through the Twin Cities. Video clips posted by Nick Sorter from the scene show groups of agitators vandalizing unmarked cars allegedly belonging to Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials, the Department of Homeland Security, and even possibly the FBI. In one act, rioters attached a tow rope to a weapons locker, in the trunk of the federal car and used a pickup truck to rip it open, stealing a rifle and ammunition. There are a lot of leftists that have gone to private in their X accounts after this happened. Tate, I'm interested in hearing what your take on this is. Do you think that this is justification for the Insurrection Act? Yeah,
I mean, Viva Frei was on the show today on the Noon Live, and he made an interesting point, which was, you know, he is obviously also saying like, yeah, this is grounds for the Insurrection Act. There could be an argument that the left may be goading that sort of reaction out of the Trump administration so then they can say, oh, look how authoritarian it is. This sort of justifies this. Maybe this would swing over some weak Republicans into some sort of resolution to maybe try and strip away Insurrection Act powers from the GOP. But the point he made and the point that I was making, and we're both in agreement, is like, yeah, but this is the grounds for it, so I don't really care what the reaction is going to be. Let's just do it. Let's rip the Band-Aid. Because like the stuff we're seeing here, like where they're literally like roping around the case and yanking out of the truck and that sort of, we didn't even see that kind of stuff in 2020. Like that is next level. Well, literally raiding an ICE vehicle. Like that's a very unique thing where they're stealing weapons like it's GTA.
There was actually a dude in, I believe it was in Seattle, that grabbed a rifle from a police officer's car, and a security guy who actually like grabbed the rifle from him. He actually made a YouTube page for himself and called himself the weapon snatcher. But I do think, to your point, it doesn't really matter what the left says. It's time for the government to, for the federal government to move in and make sure that the ICE officials and the DHS officials can do their job.
Yeah, one question I have for the administration is, how do you fight against a party who wants to get shot, they want to get arrested, they want to cause chaos, and I think, to your point, They're causing chaos because politically it will work for them. It will motivate their base to show up and vote for them. So even as a Republican Party, how do you fight against that?
And with local government officials that are egging them on, because Tim Walz was talking today how we need to turn the rhetoric down, but just yesterday or over the weekend he was saying we're at war with the federal government.
I think you really want to establish threat of force, like credible threat of force. Trump sort of in his administration did that in Iran. They moved the aircraft carriers and they're like, we're not going to attack. Now they're like, we're considering the Insurrection Act. Tim Walz is like, okay, you're right. They broke into federal property and stole federal weapons. Tone it down, people, because that is legit Insurrection Act call. So don't do that. So that's promising.
Do you think that
Trump
he's
is
being
serious?
honest? Do you
I think he's like, yeah, Trump can literally do it, and he has justification if you're taking federal weapons.
Well, and also
federal weapons.
the DOJ is apparently, according to reporting, sniffing around Tim Walz right now. So there's also a chance he received a tip, received a note got slid across his desk, and he said, oh, okay, yeah, okay, maybe guys stand down a little bit. Because literally yesterday, to your point, he went out on national television and said something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing a bit, but he said this part directly. He said, ICE agents are taking away your neighbors of color. So he's basically like portraying these ICE agents as if they're some sort of Gestapo.
And that's a lie.
It's a lie, for one. And two, it's like that's quite literally putting a target on these guys' back. And then the next day, all of a sudden, he's like come to his senses and he's like, guys, this has gone way too far. It's like, is anybody buying this?
No, it sounds like you got a call. That's a good point.
Right. And you said it earlier, where are the people of color in these protests?
Yeah, literally.
I'm not seeing them exactly.
Yeah.
But I want to say this too. So the D.C. mayor is like Tim Walz as well. Isn't it interesting she's not running again?
Oh, really?
I wonder what happened, because her police chief was caught cooking the numbers on the crime data. So maybe there's some dirt on Tim Walz where he's compromised now.
I think that's likely. And to be honest with you, I mean, this is something we talked about a little bit, but I think that it probably spans the whole Democrat Party. I mean, you've got essentially the entire left side of the aisle, whether you're a far leftist or someone that would be considered, fairly moderately left, if there are any of those in the Congress anymore, but they're all covering for illegal immigrants, right? They're all essentially trying to convince people that illegal immigrants equals people of color, which is not true at all. Yeah. There are plenty of illegal immigrants from white countries. There are illegal immigrants from Europe, and it doesn't matter. It's not about color at all. But they're trying to make it out like that. And when it comes to all the fraud and stuff that you hear, there's a lot of the Democrat politicians that are doing their best to either cover it up, and I think it's because they're trying to cover up their own involvement, or at least the fact that they haven't used the powers of government to stop it or prevent it. And I think that there are some that actually are participating in it.
Yeah. Tate made it because you asked him the question. I think this administration should just go all in, just invoke it, get it over with, and just let's see what happens. Because if they do nothing, then what happens? I think they're just going to keep going. And innocent people will be hurt in the process as a result.
If Tim Walz hadn't said stand down, I would really lean towards that as well. But because of it, I'd like to see if people actually stand down, because someone mentioned earlier, I think you may have mentioned, DeVory, that they could be baiting them. I mean, a big part of the revolution
of the point.
The Marxist, communist thing is they want the federal government to crack down with a fascist dictatorship so that they can be like, see, we told you, community rally, communism, let's, and it's like, come on, dude, just don't take the bait. Well, Tim Walz stood down. It had gone too far last night, but hopefully
that's in good trouble. Like use the reaction of your opponent is the actual target. Like that's what they're looking to do. That's why they have guys out there dressed up like Pikachu, or that's why they have, women with kids out there. They have women out in the front of the line, because what they want is they want to get a picture of you beating up of the police beating up a woman, or beating up a dude that's dressed up like like Pikachu or whatever, because then it makes the government look like they're overreacting and makes them look ridiculous.
Well, and the conservative right-wing argument against invoking the Insurrection Act as it stands right now is the Insurrection Act completely federalizes every sort of form of riot control in the state of Minnesota as soon as you invoke it. The right-wing conservative argument is, look, if we can just simply bend these blue state governors' arms with just the three-letter agencies, that sets the tone much more than the Insurrection Act. It's like the Insurrection Act, obviously, that's going to sort of disarm them, incapacitate them. But again, if you can manage to twist the arm of Tim Walz, which we saw today, with just using the 3-letter agencies, there's something to be said about that. Actually, might send even more of a message to these left-wing governors going forward. That's the debate raging on right, because it's really in vogue right now, obviously, to say, well, Insurrection Act, let's just mop this up. But I don't think and I'm not saying anybody's making this argument, but I don't think the Trump administration are idiots. I think Stephen Miller is actually keenly aware that, hey, if we can manage to just basically set up a trap right here without having to invoke the Insurrection Act, that's going to be much more politically expedient going forward than every single time there's a riot, every single time there's a protest, let's just chuck the Insurrection Act and get it over with.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point, like, it does also leave the Insurrection Act as a card you can play, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have to go full on federalizing everything, and you can get the local governments to do what you want just by applying pressure, then you can save the Insurrection Act for if they don't respond or what have you.
It's interesting, because then what you're saying in that argument is that conservatives have to trust that the DOJ is going to get some results, and quite frankly, I don't think we believe that at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like the DOJ. There's a lot of question marks. You're seeing reporting that Bondi is just not on the same page with the Trump admin broadly. But yeah, I mean, that argument doesn't make sense, because something like, as conservatives, is we want nothing more, including myself, we want nothing more than to see Marines on the streets, because I think as a collective, we are a bit, this is like a gay word to use, but we're a bit traumatized from 2020. Like, that was actually such an egregious, embarrassing moment as a country that we just are paranoid of seeing that ever happen again, me included. So we just want to see the Marines go in just to send a message, just to get a bit of sort of vindication in a lot of ways. But then that's where the debate is, okay, what's more politically expedient for the next 3 years?
I think that's one of the reasons, or one of the best arguments for Donald Trump actually using the Insurrection Act, is to make sure that 2020 is not repeated. Yeah. Right. But there's a lot of people that are like, I don't want to see that again. I don't want to see, cities being burned. I don't want to see people out rioting like this, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of people that look at Donald Trump and think, well, he's not actually as strong as he talks. And it would take that kind of that kind of order from the administration to get people to be like, oh, well, I guess maybe he does have it in him. Because even I think, I'm not sure Donald Trump has it in him to do the stuff that's necessary to really put this stuff down. And I hope he does, if it's necessary, but I'm not 100% sure.
It seems like with things in Iran, like heat being hot like they are in Venezuela, Trump doesn't have room to mess around domestically. So if there's a threat of one of our cities going under right now is not the time to mess with the federal security force, because we need diplomatic unity at home in order to preserve against international forces. A lot of countries will bullshit you and use that reasoning and be like, we must come together to fight but this is legit potential explosive threats that we can't tender a domestic pop. And Waltz knows that.
Well, yeah, you're describing like a very real political mechanism, which is every president, every politician has a limited amount of political capital that they can spend. And that's what you need to look at. You need to look at Trump's victories bank you political power that you can then spend in other places. Potentially, like we did in the last time, potentially on issues that are unpopular. And there are some issues that Trump loyalists want to push across the finish line that are unpopular with the majority of Americans. So that's where you spend that political capital. So the question is, if we're really expending political capital on Iran, you still need some left over to then quash these sorts of things in Minneapolis and these sorts of things. And so, altogether, I mean,
I think that the actions. Actually, Tim's on.
That's my boss.
Check him out. Let's go. We're gonna jump to Tim Pool with Jesse
I think
Waters.
We got to talk over him. That's my job.
Do that?
I get him, Tim.
It seems so. Now, I don't want to say at the highest levels Democrat politicians want to foment civil war, as I often talk about, but they're beholden to their constituents. So we have a mayor suggesting the police should now be fighting federal agents, which is horrifying. But it's actually quite simple. ICE agents are out on the ground across the country because I asked them to be, because you asked them to be, because the American voter said immigration is a top issue for us. We want Republicans in office. We want Donald Trump in office. And we want this problem solved once and for all. So what are we seeing? Violent extremists who oppose our democracy and the will of the people. That video you showed where they put the tow rope and rip out the weapons locker, that's not the only one. There were other vehicles they ransacked. There's a video purporting to show a man stealing what appears to be a rifle from a federal vehicle and ammunition, as well as patches, tourniquets, and other objects. This is not a protest. This is not a riot. These are political extremists, and it's overt terror. I'll tell you when it upgrades to terror, when these people are reading the names of the agents on camera, which they did after they ransacked the vehicle, after they leaked their names, and apparently went and found their private vehicles. So we're at a whole new level. And Jesse, I used to go on the ground all the time. I covered tons of these protests. I've been personally attacked and assaulted by many of these extremists. I have never seen this level of extremism. I mean, we've seen fire bombs, we've seen broken windows, but to ransack federal vehicles and steal their weapons. So let me say this about what happened to Renee Good. You may have seen the video immediately following the moment where she dies. And it's tragic. I wish it didn't happen. But you hear her lover say, "Why were you using real bullets?" There's two different people here. There's two different groups. You've got your political extremists, and they radicalize your liberal ICE mom, your run-of-the-mill suburban mom who doesn't really understand what they're being asked to do. And these women, they've gone out to your protest where they wiggled their little flags and their signs, and they said, this policy is bad and that policy is bad. This is something different. The extremists are advocating that these middle-aged women show up to federal law enforcement operations where armed federal agents are seeking out criminal cartels, murderers, rapists, child traffickers. And they're wondering why these ICE agents are apprehensive and armed with lethal munitions. They're not prepared for this, and I fear it will get worse.
No, I mean, they're crash test dummies, and I'm not calling them dummies. I'm just saying they're being used like crash test dummies. They're naive, they're untrained, they're just not cut out for this. You've been on the streets, and you can see the difference. You look at Minneapolis, and then you look at a city like Memphis. So Memphis, run by a Democrat mayor in a red state, but they agreed to cooperate. They have backup by the locals. It's not a sanctuary, and they're picking up bad hombres left and right. There's no rebellion. It's done professionally, and no one's gotten hurt. And they go after the worst first. Why can't that be the model? Why does it have to come to this type of violence?
You know, I don't want to call it a non sequitur, but the Greenland thing, I think, really exemplifies no matter what Trump does, he is wrong. And that's really what it is. The Democratic politicians are going to say ICE is wrong to enforce the law. They're wrong to stop these narco gangs, these rapists, these criminals, and general illegal immigrants. And when you see how Trump is simply negotiating for Greenland and they tell him he's wrong on that one, too, I throw my hands up. We voted for immigration operations, and your point is astute. In areas where there's agreements and they cooperate, it's clean, safe, and the job is done. But in these particular areas, what do we get? A judge aiding and abetting a man who beat his wife, to helping him escape and getting convicted for it. We can't function this way.
No, I mean, the country cannot function if you have little carve-outs of chaos in major cities and states where agents can't go in and enforce federal law. That's when the country collapses, and hopefully it doesn't come to that.
That I disagree
Tim
with.
Pool, great to see you as always. Insightful analysis.
Thank you, Jesse. And that is something I'd like to talk to Jesse about particularly. I think little bouts of chaos are part of what make America great. Being able to overthrow tyranny, having local government, disagreeing with the overlord. So it's a debate to be had, but stealing federal weapons is Insurrection Act territory.
I think if you're looking to actually have a policy that was voted on by the American people that is very popular. I mean, when Trump was elected, it was something like 75% of Americans said, yeah, we want to get rid of illegal aliens. Now, granted, as the policy is implemented and it gets kinetic, then people get a little, they get a little weak in the knees and stuff like that. And I understand that's going to happen. But when it comes to the actual idea of getting people that are here legally out, that's incredibly popular. And I don't think that, and considering the fact that it can be done peacefully, like Jesse was saying, Memphis, it's, you're not getting people rioting. You're not getting all of this stuff because you don't have politicians egging them on. I do blame the Democrats in office for the vast majority of the violence and chaos that we see. And it's not necessary. It could be a policy that just, that is done smoothly and cleanly.
Were you gonna...
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I don't think they want to solve the problem. I think that is clear. Secondly, is San Francisco, D.C., Memphis, New Orleans, no drama. They all collaborated.
Yep.
which shows that it works.
Yeah.
3, to what Tim Pool was saying, which is essentially these people they're off the reservation. They're far gone.
Yeah.
So these are people that have to be dealt with differently than what we normally would do. And here's the other thing. Where is the police department?
Well, they're standing down intentionally.
Right.
You know, they don't want to get involved because, again, I think that the Democrat politicians want the chaos. I think that they think that, or at least for a time, they were thinking this is good for me. You know, to see to see people get injured and stuff. It's good for the Democrats. Yeah. You know, they want to see the chaos.
You say it's like it can be peaceful, like in Nashville, for instance, but for them, it's like taking your enemy's food supply is like, they call it nonviolent. The CIA describes it as nonviolent because there's no kinetic action. But we all know that taking a community's food supply would be considered violent in the scheme of things. So removing people that live there that might be there illegally but have become part of the community emotionally, they see it as like removing the food supply. So it's not really it's kind of how you...
That's right, Ian. And I've been sitting here the whole time.
Are you the guy from Fox News?
I am.
Don't get wishy-washy on us when we're trying to enforce the law, Ian.
We were talking. Jesse at the end there said that chaos is not tolerable. I thought that bouts of chaos is kind of what makes America great, being able to resist the overlord, the Fed, whatever. Not that this is necessarily the debate on whether this is right or wrong is almost like tertiary to the debate. Just the understanding that it's local government supersedes.
When chaos is dominant, we're screwed. A little bit of chaos is a good thing because you want to be able to evolve, adapt, expand, grow, etc. If you're too rigid, you shatter. You got to have a little flexibility, otherwise you snap. You know what I'm saying?
I've always made this point, like in regards with European cities. Okay, as right wingers, as conservatives, like we inherently believe in hierarchy, we inherently believe in order, we believe these things are ordained by God. But when, like in Europe, for example, where there's zero sense of like an underworld whatsoever, these cities actually just turn into museums, and it like completely eviscerates any sort of life that's in these cities. So I'll steel man Ian's argument here, because if you look at like Prague or Budapest, like these cities for young people are actually quite miserable. These are very old cities. So I do agree that to a degree, you obviously can't endorse it as the government, you can't promote it, but just a bit of room for things actually goes a long way for young people, because that's what creates innovation, that what creates culture and these sorts of things.
It just can't come at the sacrifice of order.
Exactly.
Which is exactly what's taking place. And the other thing too is we're dealing with people who don't even support the idea that someone who's been in the country unlawfully for 30 years should not be deported.
Yeah. Right. It's like they're emphasizing disorder in the most pernicious ways, whether it's in sexuality, whether it's in like, civilizational questions like immigration. What does it mean to be an American? That's where they promote the dysfunction. It's not even just disorder, it's dysfunction. It's dysgenic. It's really just a horrific thing.
How about just going back to the whole people of color thing? Just if you think of economics and our financial freedom, as people like to say, how could that even be a reality if they keep funding illegal immigration? I don't understand that. So these people, they're going into the streets, they're protesting, saying that things are too expensive, all this other stuff. Well, what do you think's happening with all of your resources?
Yeah.
They've been going to illegal immigration.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they can't put two and two together. And then when we say this, like, hey, maybe you can't afford houses because the market is oversaturated with people who are needing houses. Yeah. And in order, they don't understand supply and demand because they're communists. So when it's like, let me just, if there's any communists out there who are concerned about why there are homeless people, let's start with when there's too many people and not enough homes, the people who own the homes get to dictate the prices. And they say, listen, I got people banging my door down saying they'll take my house. I'm gonna take the best offer. When you have no people and there's a bunch of empty houses, they're going to sell them for what they can sell them for. So when you keep inviting in more and more and more people, your prices, they're going to go up. Not to mention the very simple reality of, at a certain point, people walking on the ground break the ground, and then we have to fix it.
This is what I'm talking about. I'd love to make that point. Supply and demand functions, but that's not a closed system. Outside, the people that can't participate in that supply and demand system, which is like house buying, they're so poor, they become highway robbers. They do things to that system of the supply and demand system. So people that are here completely unable to think about housing, they will put pressure on that supply demand trade system with whatever, blatantly riots in the streets, but like it could be lots of different ways.
The point was additionally just roads don't last forever. Buildings don't last forever. Maintenance is a requirement for all of our infrastructure. And if you're inviting in more and more people, to tens of millions, eventually a bridge collapses. And we have to fix it. So over time, a bridge is going to face just general environmental wear and tear and degradation. And you got to fix it. But you add millions of people walking back and forth across it breaks down faster. That's going to cost everybody money, and that's going to come from the public coffers. But these communists, the best example of how insane these socialists and communists are is that meme where it was like, someone said, what are you going to do when communism wins? And they said, I'm going to teach art and poetry on my farm. To which someone responded, your farm? But while that is a funny joke, it also exemplifies what they think will happen. They think that communism will come in and then they don't have to work ever again. That's really what they think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not ever going to be the case.
Yeah, they're going to like sit around doing like acrylic art all day. It's like, bro, get to the mines. Get your pickaxe. Head on down to the mines.
Break rocks.
Yeah.
They'll call themselves Marxist-Leninists, but then they'll go ahead and forget that Lenin said, if you don't work, you don't eat.
Yeah, literally.
If you hooked your body up to
Not that,
tubes in a
Lenin.
vat and they let them harvest your heat, then you could be techno-communist, but they need something from you. They're going to extract some sort of something out of you.
Modern communists love to say things like fully automated luxury communism because they believe that, like, with super productivity that's going to come with AI and with robotics, that everybody will have everything they want. And look, if that is the future, like where you can actually be super productive and there's nobody, anything you want you can have, which I don't think is actually going to happen. But if that were the case, fine. Then maybe you can make the argument, but and I'll listen.
I think we need a new word to describe this, because communist, it's like you can say neo-communist because it is a different function. It's different to the general ideology we knew in the early 1900s.
Sure.
Largely because you're looking at an industrializing society, and they're approaching this concept of labor from we can do a lot more work, but we still work. Mm-hmm. Now you're looking at the AI revolution, and there's going to be people who cannot work. Of course, many of these people are not advocating for UBI, which that won't work either. Even David Sachs said this, and he's the AI czar. He's like, no, UBI is not going to happen. So I'll just say this, every day I track what's going on with AI developments, and the development is so massively exponential. This show probably won't be able to exist. One thing that we're seeing right now, and you're wondering why, let me tell you why first. Already right now, if I wanted to, I could take probably 50 episodes of Timcast IRL, load it into an AI, and tell it, isolate Tim Pool and clone him. I'm literally, right now you can do this. It'll probably take you half a day to upload all the videos, and then it'll take maybe a day to render the clone. Maybe it takes about an hour or two. And then you can tell ChatGPT, write a script in the style of Tim Pool about today's news, and it'll do it, and you don't need me anymore. It'll do it. The only real problem is that all the AI is woke. So they're going to tell fake news, but they'll just do it in my voice. It'll be creepy. Here's what's happening right now on YouTube. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of channels. This is crazy. I'm going to tell you guys how to become millionaires right now. Get your bag before it's too late. No joke. What they'll do is they'll write a script that automatically will plug into ChatGPT and say, write a 30-minute long script based on today's news. Start with the punchiest sensational story. Then it'll load that script into a AI avatar video generator, and it will tell the AI, have a person, an attractive male or female, read this script over the period of a half an hour. And what they do is they upload 70 to 100 of these videos per day. Seriously, psychotic amounts of videos. And they get 500 to 800 views. And you might be saying, well, what's that going to get you? Well, when you do 100 of them, you're making $150K per month. Yeah. And here's the thing. People won't come back to watch those videos, but it won't matter because the videos change, the style changes, and it's going to eventually get recommended to somebody, and they're going to click it. And if a couple hundred click your couple hundred videos per day, you are making bank.
I'm pretty sure
now.
I've been recommended that stuff. I'm pretty sure, AI history documentaries. It's pretty obvious it's AI, or that it's
there's news.
computationally
I got recommended this video on news, and I saw It was like 45 minutes long, and I'm like, who's this? And it's a fake person, and it's getting crazier and crazier. Here's the other thing. What if I just recorded this video, uploaded it, and then had it choose a sexy woman instead of me, and then you get all the thirst clicks? Because I'm just going to I want to stress to you guys. We A/B tested yesterday's thumbnail with Aaron Wexler, and the boobs did 3% better. 3%.
Is it still testing?
Yeah, actually, I can check right now and see where it's at.
Out. It was at 51.48.
3% is actually massive. Oh, it looks like. Did the boobs lose?
Boobs
no,
lost.
boobs
People
won.
are coming to their senses. Oh, boobs.
It just decided not to do it.
Everybody sucked on a boob at some point if they breastfed.
3.2%.
Yeah, that's not the normal way boobs would be marketed. I mean, virtually they would be wide
war
open.
with Iran.
Right?
My point is we're making a big
Confused.
mistake with Tate. Right. We're making a big mistake. We got a great opportunity with him.
Better conditioner.
He should pre-record the show.
Water in the
Tate
hair,
has to get
bro.
Oh, I thought you were going to trans me.
Yeah, using AI, I can take the noon live show, and then we're uploading it at 4 p.m. onto YouTube. Like, hey, watch this. Like some
Make
kind
it the
of some kind of
Goon
losers.
live show.
What we do is
great.
you upload the video to an AI, and then you can take any photograph and so the way these programs work is you upload the video, then you upload a photo, and it will use the photo as a reference for the room and the person. So we can swap Tate out with some busty young woman talking about the news and get way more money.
Can you A/B test the video itself, or is it just the thumbnail?
Just the thumbnail and the title.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it would work.
And I just think we're cooked.
You could A/B test the thumbnail with an AI chick instead of Tate, and it might get a lot more clicks. And then
it absolutely will get clicks. That's just a reality.
And like, oh, welcome to the future. Wait till the other guy does it, or check out the hottest, flashiest.
They're already doing it. There are already guys that have gaming content and viral videos on Instagram where you'll see a woman with like a low cut top, and it's actually a guy records a video and then renders it as a woman to upload it.
We were just watching.
That's the future, bro.
What we should do is tomorrow for the noon show, the Goon show rather, A/B test. Hot chick in the thumbnail.
No,
AI,
you can't do that.
And Tate, you can't? Why not?
If you put up a thumbnail that is not representative of the video, it'll get removed.
But what if we're talking about now? We're prepping people.
No.
I see. I'm not going to push it. I'm just wondering.
You'll get a strike. It'll get taken down.
Oh, okay.
You are not allowed to make
But
thumbnails.
people they do like weird, like provocative, off-topic.
It's one thing to make a thumbnail where Tate's looking at a hot woman shocked and she's not in the video. That could get you in trouble still.
What if it's Tate with breasts, like covered, but cleavage with AI?
Like a dude face with boobs.
Yeah,
it'll work.
His skin isn't clear enough.
Hottest is hottest. So.
Or you play 10 seconds of a skit AI as soon as the video starts to make sure the thumbnail matches what's in the video.
We are filming across the pond tomorrow. Maybe because accents are kind of sexy, right? So maybe if we somehow trans Connor for the show, then that could really bolster the show.
You know they have those filters. Can we put a filter on Connor so that he's just like a scantily clad young British woman?
I think, and he probably, knowing him, he'd probably be down for that.
He's
a very open-minded guy.
He's like, I always wanted to be a young woman, so it works.
Right, that's a really good imitation.
Is it? I don't know. I was just doing a general British.
That was actually an AI imitation. It was kind of crazy.
I just imagine that you do the underbite and he talks like this. Well, I'm from London, so I'm smarter than you.
Yeah.
That's how I
tune into Across the Pond. It's basically the show.
Let's jump to this. We got big news. The guy who stole the FBI weapons from the safe inside the federal vehicle has been arrested. We've got this. We got this. Oh, look at that. Looks like his arrest details. Let's play the video.
Oh my God.
With a tattoo like that, he just stole something.
Yeah, guy with the most distinctive tattoo in history. Let me commit a federal crime.
Wow.
We got him, boys.
You know what's
That was
missing there is how they booked him in. Was he white, non-Latino?
Yeah, literally.
Hispanic?
So true. Yeah, well, this guy, dude, I'm sorry. If you have like a face tattoo like that, you got to give crime arrest. Like if you're clean, clean cut kind of guy, I could understand maybe participating in crime.
I just imagine
but like a Mike Tyson tattoo, like what are we doing?
They found that guy so fast.
Yeah. So my take on this, and probably the conversation tonight is the Insurrection Act. My earlier take, Tim, I'm not sure if you were here, if you heard, but it's Tim Waltz basically came out and was like, you're right, it's too far. Trump has a legitimate claim on issuing an Insurrection Act with people thieving and stealing federal weaponry. So Waltz is like, cool it.
He said because they're stealing federal weapons.
I'm I'm not sure what, but Waltz came out around 11 a.m. I heard and was like, "Tone it down, everybody." They caught
he didn't
the
say
guy.
anything near that specific.
He
said, "Trump, you need to stop."
Exactly.
Because it's gone too far. So tone it down, Trump. It's your fault. Screw it. No, I'm kidding. But he just said, "Tone it down. It's gone too far, Trump. Pull it back."
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, did you see Mayor Frey, whatever his name is, be like, "We've got people saying the cops need to now fight ICE." Yeah, Trump needs to tone it down. No, I voted for this. Trump's got to tone it up. Get out there and take care of these extremists. Imagine Tim Waltz. He's like, now that we have all these people trying to murder people and stealing federal weapons, Trump, stop. And I'm like, no, you stop? What? Federal law enforcement doing their jobs and arresting criminals, and you're saying we don't want criminals and cops fighting, so everyone should just go about their business.
It's kind of one of those things like in 2020, you know, everyone was like, well, if that cashier would have just taken the fake $20 bill, then none of this would have ever happened. It's kind of the same thing. Is like if they would have just spelled learning correctly, none of this would have happened.
Yeah,
bro.
right.
See, this is why I'm saying, like, we need to get a camera crew so we can do these bits, because then it's like Tate goes back in time, and then he walks in before George Floyd, and he goes, "I think that guy's got a counterfeit bill." And then he just walks out.
Yeah. We need to do.
He whispers he comes out of the shadows and whispers in the ear of the clerk, "Don't take the bill.
Don't be a hero." We need to
don't take the bill. He made the George Floyd thing
4
happen.
to 6 cameramen and about 12 editors. If you guys want to join us in Florida, come join us, because we are creating the most bomb-ass fucking entertainment industry right now. I'm serious. If you're interested, hit me up on Twitter. Send me videos. Send me something you've made. We are legit making a powerhouse entertainment industry. So let's rock and roll. Stuff like that is genius.
Right. So true.
Yeah, kind of going back to what you were saying
about
quickly
Tate
here.
going back in time to instigate the George Floyd
I gotta write
riots.
it down.
Could be. But I don't think you saw it. The framing right now is very clear. It's, hey guys, we're going a little too far, but we're going too far because it's Trump's fault.
Yeah.
It's what he wants us to do. What I really mean to say is, I want you to go this far, because like you were saying, it might be an actual bait.
Yeah, literally. Like this is what everyone like. The initial thing that started or let's just say the Renee Good. If she just ran over that officer, they would be celebrating. These are the same people that celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. So it's like they would be celebrating this. The only way you get these people to stop, the only way you like end this again, is just sending a message to Minneapolis. Like, it's very simple. There's no negotiating with these people. There's no debating. There's no like maybe if we sweeten the deal or maybe make him a different offer. Tim Waltz is just trying to get Trump to back down with ICE, because he is not going to be, his victory condition is ICE completely withdrawing from the city in entirety. We can't do that. There's been a mandate given to the Trump administration. Again, with Nick Shirley's video, now it's on everyone's desks. They woke up and everyone saw the video, left, right, center, whatever. The Trump administration is not going to back down. Tim Waltz is evidently not going to back down. So
he's also got all the cards, right? Like the feds are really in the position of where they've got all the cards. There's nothing that Tim Waltz or anyone in Minnesota can do.
That's part of the reason that Tim Waltz actually dropped out of the race, is to at least give him he doesn't have to worry about re-election now. He can literally do whatever he wants, because he has this. You have to remember, Tim Waltz got beat by Trump in an election. He lost out on the vice presidency. This dude has a chip on his shoulder like no other. That's part of the reason he dropped out, is because he wants to try and settle this score at the Trump administration. He knows if he doesn't have to worry about re-election, he can pull whatever he wants.
I don't know. I kind of feel like you have to have a decent amount of testosterone to have a chip on your shoulder, and I just don't.
No, people with low test are like extreme. They have low impulse control and they're extremely emotional. So it's actually the opposite. He's like PMSing right now.
I just want to be clear about something. Are you saying that if an illegal alien killed Renee Good, there wouldn't be any riots?
There'd be no riots at all.
Yeah, it wouldn't even make.
Actually, I'm sorry. No, there would be riots.
Okay.
To get the illegal immigrant out of jail.
Yeah, literally.
There we go.
They'd be like, "Why are you abusing this poor man of color?"
They'd be like, Renee Good was a right-wing extremist.
Yeah,
actually, when you really think about it.
They would. They'd say it was a privileged white woman who was trying to hit a poor and defenseless brown person. There's already videos of like a middle-aged liberal woman being like, "I don't know how I should feel about this because she was white."
Yeah.
You see that video?
Oh yeah,
No,
she pulled over because she wanted to see what was going on. Like, okay, so you're just gonna wing it?
Right.
Yeah, I love how it was like he suffered internal bleeding, and then they go, "So you mean bruising?" And I'm like, "So you agree he got hit?"
Yeah. Literally.
It's just so stupid. Yeah, these people are. It's a derangement.
Yeah,
It's part of the reason it makes it so frustrating. that we lost to them for so long because they're just so incompetent. It really demonstrates how incompetent these youth
Look,
Well,
zombies,
apathy is a dangerous
zombies are
place.
slow, stupid, but they have sheer numbers.
But they only had half the country. We had the other half. Then like half the country's tuned
Yeah,
in.
but
It's
listen,
just our leadership was so atrocious.
It was
Let
people
me
gave
explain. Let me
false
explain.
false to Obama.
Have you ever seen a zombie movie where the protagonists are going around biting the zombies?
No.
Of course not. In all of these movies, the protagonists are like, we need to run and hide from them. They're stupid and easily outsmarted or outwitted, and yet the point is that in the mind, and I'm not suggesting life is a zombie movie. I'm saying the way we perceive threats of quantity is we run and hide. That's the relatable experience. So you have these liberals who are completely ignorant to what's going on, marching behind psychopath extremists, and we all run and hide.
Sam, have you tried?
Until about 2020, then COVID was like too much, and we made this show is nice way to not run and hide anymore.
No,
for me
because
anyway.
there was it's more than just 2020 though, because he's talking about like
This is a 60-year thing.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of it I think is because people want to. There's too many people that want to vote for the nice thing, right? They want to vote for the thing that sounds nice, that sounds like, oh, we're going to be the nice country, and et cetera. And I don't think that actually means you're going to get good policy.
Sam, we should give these zombies pocketbook constitutions. I think what it is they haven't been, properly matriculated into the glory of free market economics and like classical liberalism. That's what they need. Is they just need to be steeped in the literature, and then they'll totally change the
mandatory. What are you talking about? Mandatory Neuralink.
I like that.
Mandatory Neuralink. Okay.
Unironically, that would work.
If you are a leftist rioter and you get arrested by ICE, they just jam the Neuralink into the back of your head by force, and then all of a sudden the leftist stands up and goes, suddenly,
it just plays
I understand it all. Rothbard is in my mind.
It just
and then
plays Rocky 5 in their brain, or Rocky 4 in their brain for like hours and hours until they're
Locke
like waving the
just
stars and
downloaded,
stripe.
like they're screaming and smashing things, and the cop's like, "Do it quick!" And he hits the John Locke button, and the Antifa guy goes, "I understand everything now. I'm going to stop attacking people."
Supply and demand. What?
I don't want to stress
The invisible hand, it's got me.
Yeah, literally.
I just think it's fascinating that we have more empathy for her being killed than they would have empathy if the ICE agent was actually run over.
Well, I do think it's fair to say that the way that the left has approached the Charlie Kirk thing is that the higher profile individuals at the highest level, the Democrats, said it's sad, our prayers are with the family. Then the mid-tier people said, yeah, well, he was a bad guy, and this is what happens. And then the lower tier, leftist extremists all dance and celebrated. We do see something comparable with the killing of Renee Good. I see it all over Instagram, sort of no-name accounts making memes, mocking her dying, laughing about it, insulting her. Then you get the mid-tier personalities like us saying, well, she accelerated towards an officer. I mean, it's sad that she died. And at the highest level, you have politicians saying, we're very sad this happened. Trump even saying, I understand there's two ways you can see it. Now, the difference is not factually correct or factually incorrect. The difference is moral worldview. So for us, we're like, she was engaged in felony obstruction. And this is a law enforcement operation, not crowd control work. This is where the conflict arises. Charlie Kirk was speaking. That's it. So you can't compare the two. While in their worldview, their moral structure is you're allowed to obstruct law enforcement because it's for the greater good of what we determine. And Charlie Kirk was spreading hate. Now, we, of course, look at that and go, that's insane. We can't agree with that. But it's the light and it's the dark, right? They live in their moral worldview, which we think is psychotic, and we live in ours.
Isn't it interesting how silent they are about Keith Porter Jr.? Did you guys hear about that story?
No.
Well, we're silent about it too, I guess.
New Year's Eve, he's a black guy, lives in an apartment complex with an ICE agent. He goes outside to celebrate, shoots his rifle in the air, bullets in the air. The ICE agent comes out, confronts him, says, hey, I'm an ICE agent. Stop doing that. I guess he didn't comply. And then according to LAPD, and I say that carefully, according to LAPD, not my opinion, they say that he shot at the ICE agent 3 times, and then the ICE agent shot him and killed him in self-defense.
And so which guy was it?
Which guy what?
You named a guy, but there's 2 people here.
So the black guy, his name was Keith Porter Jr.
And he died.
Yeah.
And they don't care?
That's why it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
You would think they would have said something about that story. It's interesting nobody has heard of it, right?
Yeah, last year I think the estimate was either 4 to 6 people were killed by ICE agents. I think there was like 14 or 15 ICE involved shootings where someone was hit. So it's like now is the moment where they're seizing on it. You wonder how clean those shots were, because this is like clearly self-defense. Like, how egregious were those? That would be just mortifying for the left.
And even the ones in Portland too.
Hey, Ben Crump is on the scene with the Keith Porter.
That's what I'm saying. Is they're silent about that. Go ahead.
I want to pull up this clip. This is the mayor saying that residents want cops to fight ICE agents. Now, I do want to stress, I believe this is an edited and fake video, but the quote is real.
What I can tell you for certain is that this is not sustainable. This is an impossible situation that our city is presently being put in. And at the same time, we are trying to find a way forward to keep people safe, to protect our neighbors, to maintain order. And we're in a position right now where we have residents that are asking the very limited number of police officers that we have to fight ICE agents on the street, to stand by their neighbors. We cannot be at a place right now in America where we have two governmental entities that are literally fighting one another.
No, maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was edited. I think that's actually the correct video. Sorry.
Yeah, edited that at the end.
Where the cops like, whoa. Yeah, the mayor's coming out and saying residents want the cops to fight the feds. So, civil war? Civil war, anybody?
No, because
Insurrection Act.
we're able to talk about it and expose it. I think it's not going to bubble up like it has in the past, like slowly bleeding Kansas, 12 years of it without any kind of like really federal crackdown or intervention. This is like, we see the problem pretty quick now.
Ian, you're a frog in a pot.
Yeah, but I see the pot. I have technology like ladders, and like I'm way more aware.
If 3 years ago on this show, if 3 years ago on this show, I would have explained to you that we were facing the real risk of local law enforcement trying to fight the federal government and saying their cops should, and then you'd have one of these leftists shot and killed by a federal agent, you'd have said it's not possible.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I would have said that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty open-minded.
You would have said exactly the same thing you're saying right now, that the escalation is likely not going to happen.
Well, if you say like 100 people are going to get killed by ICE next year, I'm not going to say it's impossible.
You want to know how I know
500 people or 1,000 people, I wouldn't even say it's impossible.
I'm calling you a frog in a pot because you've said this to us 12 times over the past 4 or 5 years.
What exactly?
When we discuss like there's no off-ramp, the escalation is coming, your position is always, no, this time I think otherwise.
Well, it's a new situation. It's not, it's not written in stone.
It's always a new situation.
It's a lot about people are determining how they feel about these things in real time. And so being able to report on it like as it's happening is really influencing what is going to happen tomorrow.
Like, could you just imagine, I love the time travel test, going back 10 years and saying 10 years from now, Donald Trump will be in a second non-consecutive term where he will be deploying thousands of federal agents and the National Guard to various cities to arrest an estimated 10 to 20 million illegal immigrants. In the process, he'll discover child slaves working on drug farms. People will get shot. Agents will get shot at, rammed, dragged, assassinated. There will be terror attacks with rifles shooting at ICE facilities. Then, in one incident, a middle-aged woman will obstruct federal law enforcement and, in her attempt to escape, strike an officer who shoots and kills her. Guys, we already know, because we've done the time travel experiment 75 times or more on this show going back several years. And every time we bring it up, the next step seems equally more absurd. So I always preface it by saying maybe this will be the time where people say, whoa, we've gone way too far. It's time to tone everything down, boys. We can't have this. But again, 10 years ago, what I just laid out, you'd get locked up in the loony bin, and that's not even the half of it. Throw in J6, throw in the Summer of Love riots, throw in Bunker Boy, the insurrection in front of the White House, the torching of St. John's Church. Throw in global lockdowns. People are going to be like, you're a lunatic and you need medication. So again, if we went back 2 or 3 years, because I can, and I said, guys, it's going to get worse. Let me put it like this. A year and 3 months ago, what did I say on this show?
Oh,
2024
right
election. 2024 election.
Good show.
Sitting in the Daily Wire studios, I said, Trump, after he wins, I said if he wins, and then after he won, he is going to send out immigration enforcement. And the Democrats, and I said it's got to be done properly because the Democrats are going to take every photo and every video and claim it's the Nazis all over again. And they're rounding up innocent people and they're killing innocent people. And they're going to claim it's just like the Holocaust. And what are we watching happen right now? Literally that.
They're trying. I think we called it out. I called it out at the Iowa caucus. We had Vivek on the show that episode. I knew that was going to be a tactic. Trying to diffuse it ahead of time. It's like calling someone being like, hey, get ready to be hoodwinked. You're like immunizing your friends and family with fake news. You're like, get ready for the bullshit.
Information vaccination.
Yeah, they're doing it. And like in the late 60s, it was a lot of radical street violence too. So, but we've got the immunization technology capability.
In the late 60s, word didn't travel the way that word travels now. If you had 1,000 bombings or 2,000 bombings in a year, like we did in the early 70s, like people would be off the chain because everybody would know about every one of them. And whereas back in, 40 years ago, 40, 50 years ago, 55 years ago now, like people just like there were tons of people that had no idea this stuff was going on. They just didn't read the news. They didn't watch ABC, NBC, or CBS, and they just went about their lives. Everybody was out touching grass. So unless they were actively on like college campuses or watched the news really closely, they didn't really know. If you did that, if that stuff happened today, like people would be out in the. I mean, I think that the internet would actually kind of compound the issues because there would be people out in the street being like, okay, it's on, it's time, because you would, I mean, dude, if you found out, right, tomorrow or at the end of the week, you were like, you found out that there were 16 bombings in 2 days in the United States, we'd be like, okay, well then civil war's actually here now. Absolutely.
Yeah. If it would be, the thing is with the internet, I don't think it will get to that because we're already talking about the Insurrection Act with one riot in Minneapolis. In the 60s, it would have been Minneapolis. 10 more cities would have been erupting. People would have been bombing the thing. Now it's like one acute thing is such a big deal with the internet that even the federal government's like, okay, now we know what to nip in the bud. It's a different.
So you're saying the circumstance wouldn't actually develop now because of it. But what I'm saying is, what if it did?
There'd be acute clampdown.
You think that the government would just come in with the jackboots?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that this is something that I've said. I think that because the conservatives ostensibly control the government, or at least control most of the executive branch, I think that if there's going to be some kind of kinetic action, it should be now because the Democrats shouldn't be in that position, like in that position.
Can I just say
again.
this? Just imagine if what social media is today, it was when Obama was the president. Just imagine that.
Yeah.
The amount of bombs he dropped. 7 American citizens killed under his watch because of drones, and the deportations, family, children, kids, all this stuff. And then the other thing this freaking mayor was saying about little to none police officers. Well, why do you guys have a small police force? Oh, yeah, that's right. You defunded the police force.
Where at?
In Minneapolis. Yeah. So, I think Obama got off scot-free, if you ask me. I think a lot of this is being driven by the social media algorithms, of course. It wants us enraged, angry, things like that. But I'm with you. I think this administration just needs to go all the way.
Yeah, you talked about Insurrection Act, baby.
You talked about the 60s. I mean, it was invoked 3 times in the 60s.
You know what situations?
It was University of Mississippi, University of Alabama, and I think it was Arkansas, the forced school integration. So it was 3 things related to the Civil Rights Act, but that's where most of the bombings were occurring, was because of the civil rights.
I think it's more than just Minnesota. I think he's got to invoke the Insurrection Act for general immigration activities, because we're seeing in numerous blue states, they're trying to create laws that obstruct. It's like Jersey just did this. They passed this law. The governor hasn't signed it yet. That basically says they can't operate in our jails. We can't cooperate with them, and they put some restrictions on them. Trump needs to just say, okay, this is active rebellion against the federal government. The federal government is wholly responsible for immigration enforcement. This is why when Texas was dealing with mass migration, they were not constitutionally allowed to turn people back. So you have this double-edged sword where Texas says, we'll take care of it in our state. And Biden's administration says, no, we won't let you. Then when Trump gets elected, because people are like, we want the problem solved, the blue states say, we're not going to listen. The only option then is, I'm going to say it again, when the states under a Democrat administration say we want to deport the people coming into our states illegally, Biden says, no, you can't. And they even cut the concertina wire to allow them to come in. Trump gets in and tries to actually enforce this, and blue states are obstructing. We voted for it. Trump, Insurrection Act, send the National Guard and the feds in, start arresting these people. I see these videos. Saw that TikTok of the woman who lives in Minneapolis. She's like, we love it. We're so happy. Okay, I'm not going to listen to a bunch of white liberal women who feign offense on behalf of other people. Look, they don't really care. They're lying. I am protecting my community. No, you're not. You saw a meme and you made a dumb video and you're putting yourself at risk because you're dumb.
Yeah, they're making loud noises to be seen to be relevant because they need some reason to be. If they hadn't arrested the guy that stole the federal weapons, I would agree, send in the jackboots. But like, if you're not gonna protect our federal weaponry, the federal government has to do it.
This,
but
bro,
if you're gonna,
it looked like they went to their homes. Do we know why they were on that residential street, ransacking the vehicles on the block? It looked like they just went to an address they got and ransacked the vehicles. They find, okay, you gotta explain this one. They find several parked vehicles, smash them all open, and find a bunch of two weapons lockers, patches.
Potentially, you know.
It looks to me like, and I don't know this is true, with the doxing of these agents, they were going to private residences and just smashing up the vehicles they thought were feds.
A residential street, that's terrorism, in my opinion. Obviously, it doesn't even matter if you know the people in the houses. That's terrorism of some sort. I mean, terrorism's generic, and I don't want to start overusing it. 20 years ago, it wasn't a real big thing. It wasn't supposed to. It's just generic. The term terrorism, George Bush started making it a thing after 9/11. Before that,
okay, we are using the word to define a specific thing.
This, I think, is a literal. It's just, I don't know if you want to hit him with terrorism charges. Anyway,
yes,
this guy, 20 years in prison at least for what this guy did.
Are you kidding, bro? He just stole a rifle from the feds.
Yeah. Keep your eyes on him for 20 years minimum.
Like, bro, we're talking about. We are opening the door to political extremists stealing rifles. And as a Black Panther says, get bigger guns, and he says he's going to put a hole in their chest. I'm sorry, in their chest.
But ask why. They want to do it because they want to change policy, which is in the definition of terrorism.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, and that's the
meanings.
And that's the etymology of terrorism. It comes from the French Revolution during the Revolution's reign of terror. That's where like the definition came from. It's an inherent terrorism is an inherently revolutionary action. That is an action that is made. And then when it started being used as like a term in popular zeitgeist was like the 70s when you had like the Munich bombings and these sorts of events. So it's always been tied to left-wing revolutionaries.
We've got breaking news right now from Cam Higbee. Rioters are attempting to take down the fence on the backside of the Minneapolis Federal Building, saying we don't have the numbers for this yet. DHS agents are standing at a distance behind the fence. Still no arrests made. Here's the video.
What do they want? Well,
oh shit, they're coming deep. Oh fuck.
That'd be funny, a sketch where they're like trying to get in.
I want to make sure it's very, very clear to everybody why Renee Good died. It's because for the past decade, these people have been able to do things just like this with impunity.
100%.
And so as I explained on Jesse Waters and on my morning show, why did you have real bullets? See, what happens is they're playing make-believe. They go out in the streets and they sing songs, they sing Kumbaya, and the police send out crowd control. And it's a game of cat and mouse. Yeah. And they love doing it every year. It's a game. It is a game.
Since the Cold War ended. Since the late 90s, America's had such luxury, they've just been able to live in la-la land.
Well, not with the LA riots. Specifically in the past 10 years, they've been met with kid gloves. What's happening now is they think every time they engage law enforcement, it's going to be a fun game of cat and mouse where the cops run and you run away and then you giggle and turn the corner and the cops stop. Now what they're doing is they're going to federal facilities doing the same thing. If at any point during one of these protests that turned into a riot, cop actually shot and killed a protester, this would not be happening. I'm not saying they should have. I'm saying if they didn't restrain themselves, and a local cop, just like during the George Floyd riots where 30 plus people were killed, if one cop just said, stop, no, don't kill that guy, bang, we wouldn't see this. They fully believe that, look, this one lady she's not even wearing a mask. I'm assuming it's a woman, not even wearing a mask or anything, going to be identified. Look at her, giggling. Is it wearing a keffiyeh? These people think it's a game. And then they're going to get 20 years and be like, I don't understand what's happening. I thought they were just going to give me a slap on the wrist. Renee Good showed up to federal law enforcement, which has a high density of lethal incidents. These are feds showing up to arrest narco gangs, terrorists, human traffickers, and sometimes about 30% of them are just criminal aliens. They are not going out to meet liberal women for crowd control measures. These ICE agents are going out thinking, when we go to this guy who's a known Tren de Aragua, he might shoot me in the face and I may never see my family again. These people go, I want to play too. And they show up and the cops are like, I ain't playing no games. Bang, she gets killed. And they go, why did you have real bullets? You stupid mother, because they are tracking down terrorists and criminals. Now these people outside a federal facility are trying to rip the fences down because they're playing a game. They're playing cops and robbers. Okay? The only way this stops is if Donald Trump explains to them what monopoly on force really means, invokes the Insurrection Act, has them all arrested and charged with felony destruction to federal property.
Just for context, remember what the Insurrection Act means. They'll bring the National Guard in, but the National Guard, they will just defend ICE doing their job.
No. The Insurrection Act allows the National Guard to enforce law. That's the distinction.
Yeah.
My point is, the National Guard should grab this woman and she should receive felony charges for criminal damage to federal property. She can spend the next 2 or 3 years in prison, and then people can be told, you are not playing a game now.
What if, as they're grabbing her, 3 other guys throw rocks at the guard guy, and then 2 other guard open fire on the 3 guys and kill him?
Yeah,
that's what happened in 1970. Basically, in the 80s, the reason I brought up the Cold War, in the 80s, people were traumatized from the riots of the 60s and 70s, and they stopped. There were like no riots in the 80s. It was real
Do you know
slow.
Why? Because of the Reagan years and economic expansion and neon hot pants and everybody was swimming in cash.
They knew the danger of rioting because they really experienced it for real. Then they started LARPing. In 1991, America's on top of the world. What could go wrong?
You made that up.
No, that's why people
you literally
think
made
this
that
isn't
up.
the real bullets. It's because they live in this fantasy
The reason why people were not rioting in the 80s was not because they were scared of the riots in the 70s.
I think the 70s broke the American spirit. 80s was the most just the most boring, rusted decade of all time of the last 40
I
years.
remember the 80s. I know I'm old, but I remember the 80s. And that wasn't the way that it was,
They were
man.
toxic.
The 80s, when Reagan came in, I hear stories all the time from boomers about how, like, I was a manager at McDonald's and had a family of 5 and made good money and had 2 weeks vacation.
Pacified. It was 80s.
The
American people were controlled heavily in the 80s.
At the end of the 70s, the economy was screwed up. Interest rates were through the roof. And this did persist through the 80s as well. But the reason, I will say this, the reason why people weren't rioting in the 80s was not because of the reason you just made up.
It was heavily controlled media narrative in the 80s.
Okay, now you're changing the subject.
No, the whole environment of no rioting, peaceful, everyone was peaceful.
The economy's not perfect. There was tumult in the early 80s. Carter was bad. Reagan gets in. Interest rates were still very high. But the reason, when you say they didn't riot because they were scared, you made that up.
They were traumatized from the 70s and the 60s.
That's based on nothing.
Because they knew. I went to Kent State, man. 4 kids were killed by National Guard in a riot. That messed people up. But for me, I was like, oh, I heard about it. For them, it really messed people up that I knew. And people that knew people that I knew. It was really a big deal when 4 citizens were killed by National Guard. It was a big deal.
I get Ian's point. He's saying he wants a Kent State to happen now to stop the violence.
People, because it's been so long, people...
You're saying
why are they real bullets?
We need a new Kent State.
That's a totally different
If you don't remember Kent State, it can happen again.
And in the 80s, they did have riots, a lot of labor disputes. I mean, famously in Philadelphia, they literally dropped a bomb on a house during a riot and took out like 60 homes in the process.
What was that called? The move? Was it the move?
Yeah. The police, like the Philly department was like, "Can we use bombs? Let's try it." And
well, it was because they were like, the 1998 move bombing, and they killed, I believe, 6 adults and 5 children were killed. Because 2 occupants of the house, 1 adult and a child survived. because the cops were like, hey, if we get anywhere near this, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
What do we do? Blow it up.
Yeah, and then Britain, similar sort of thing with Thatcher and that sort of thing. They had massive riots, like the Brixton riots. I mean, that was like infamously like the biggest riots in British. So like across the West, there was still a lot of riots. Like people weren't necessarily paranoid or scarred from previous riots. It was just, I think, Tim's point. I'm not trying to like dogpile here, but to Tim's point, when economic prosperity is at an all-time high, a lot of people aren't really interested in rights. There's not that as enough motivation.
Look, again, I'm trying to cut you off.
Move
but
more communists.
Like legitimately, I mean, I
It was like
remember,
a cult,
I remember the vast majority of the '80s. It was not like that.
Yeah, but, people were coming back from Vietnam. People came out with blown off legs. Like my friend's dad
That was
has no
in the
legs.
'70s.
I know.
Vietnam
The
ended
early
in
70s.
1975.
He was still alive in the 80s. It was just a brutal, rusted out
No, it
period of
wasn't.
American history, man.
It was not.
I came from the Rust Belt. I know why they call it the Rust Belt.
It's because of the industry.
Yeah, it fell apart in the 80s. It was rough.
Not because it fell
people's
apart.
morale was broken from
No,
Vietnam.
it was not. Like I said, I mean, I remember, I'm 50 years old. I was born in 1975. I remember the vast majority of the 80s. It was
Did
not
you have
like
family
that.
in Vietnam?
What?
Do you have family in
My
Vietnam?
dad went to Vietnam.
What happened?
Yeah.
What
He
did
didn't get blown up. But I mean, that doesn't change the fact, like that, just because Vietnam happened, which ended the year that I was born in 1975, that's when the U.S. got out, like, that doesn't mean that people were still traumatized in the 80s. The 80s was not some, like, dystopia. It just wasn't.
No,
man.
it was just pacified. It wasn't bad.
You were
it was
literally just saying it was all rusted
Ian,
out and
I
blah, blah, blah.
think-
It's not what it was.
Ian, I think you're describing today. Today is really pacified, if you think about it. If you go back to this video, Tim, do you see how the press, look at what they're wearing? They know it's not a game. Look at that. A freaking Kevlar helmet on, bulletproof vest.
Yeah, the press knows, yeah.
What I
Gas mask.
love about this is when I went to Ferguson, I was with Casey Neistat. We got out of our SUV. We pulled south off of West Florissant, and we got out. And we put on bulletproof vests, and a journalist walked by and looked at us and went. And it was funny because, in my experience, I'm from Chicago, so I understand, and a family from St. Louis, and I'd been to St. Louis quite a bit. Yeah, you want to have a bulletproof vest on, and these corporate journalists are like hoity-toity from the suburbs where their parents paid their rent so they could go to journalism, they can go to J school, and they come into these situations, and they end up getting hurt. But I will say this to the journalists: it's a game in a different way. They call themselves vultures. First, it was a pejorative. Then they just said, yeah, I like that. We're vultures. They go out there full well knowing, look at them, helmet, vest. They know, and they're waiting, and they're hoping that another Renee Good happens.
Oh, that movie, Civil War, that 820 movie is all about.
right.
That's what it's about. These people that chase the tragedy.
Casey Neistat was in Ferguson?
He was in Ferguson with me.
That's crazy.
We went there together.
I'm in one of his
Vice got
videos.
really mad about it.
That's a challenge to the fans. See if you can find the Casey Neistat video I'm in.
We flew together there, and Vice got really pissed off for some reason. And I was like, why are you mad? I don't know.
Tim lore's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tim pops up in strange places. You're like, whoa, he was there too?
He emailed me and he was
Really?
like, let's
He
go to
did that?
Ferguson. I was like, let's roll, brother.
That's crazy.
And then we got a flight. It was funny. I wake up and the guys from Vice are yelling at me. Like I walk in the door and they're like, why is Casey Neistat tweeting that he's going with you to Ferguson? And I was like, because he is.
Were they mad that it was ahead of time? That they
No, they were mad that it was like they didn't control the branding of it. And they didn't agree to collaborate with Casey Neistat. And I was like, I'm going there anyway, and he's going there too, and we're going to be on a plane. Like, whether he goes or doesn't go is meaningless.
Right.
You know?
My political consciousness started when Casey Neistat went, Hillary Clinton. I am voting for Hillary Clinton. That was like the first thing I remember about
Well, I'm
politics.
pretty sure he got paid to do that. That's my
Really?
opinion of this of it is that he was paid. I don't know for sure, but my understanding from mutual friends was that he was good friends with the Trump family, and that he had spoken highly of them and praised them. And then all of a sudden he said Trump was racist and he was voting Hillary. And someone told me this. It could be very, very wrong, so I don't want to impugn Casey's honor or anything like that. I was told that it was a promotional campaign.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true, though.
I think I heard that too. It might have been from you though, so it could be tainted information.
I mean, it could just be that people claimed it. You know what I mean? Like it could just be that someone went to him and said, "This is the move we're going to do. You should endorse Hillary," and he said, "Sure, why not?"
'Cause he never seemed like down for the cause.
Well, he said he regretted it later,
Yeah. Yeah.
which he should have.
Interesting. That's just fascinating when he said that. I was like, that's a casual lore drop. That's insane.
I think the conversation about people LARPing is the most important refocusing conversation in these 3 days.
Ian, according to the internet, which is never wrong, it's undefeated.
So true.
The reason people weren't rioting in the 80s, the lesson they learned was that they should seize control of institutions.
Oh, yeah.
So after the 70s, instead of protesting, they started running for office, creating NGOs, and working behind the scenes to take power and take control, which it appears they did.
I talked a lot about that in 2007 and 2008 on YouTube about the internet, or the revolution will be televised on the internet, though. It won't be on the street. You think it's about getting on the street and rioting and pushing and shoving. It's too easy to take you out. You need to subvert the community with internet video. It's the most powerful tool known to man right now when it comes to psychological operations. Seed the narrative.
Oh, we're done, bro. I mean, just like AI is everything. Everything else is stamp collecting. All of the stuff we're talking about with immigration, I feel like what's really happening is that the governments, the big corporations, are desperately are building AI, and they're dangling the keys over here, so we are pawing at it like kittens, and they're actually working on the AI stuff is going to just nuke everything we know in human life. And if people genuinely understood what was happening internationally, we would be in a nuclear war to wipe out these data centers and to destroy anybody who tries to build it.
Wow. So that's like Terminator 2 narrative, kind of. You see that future?
There is a popular assessment on AI that the end result will be the death of, like, literally genocide. Humans get wiped out. There's a bunch of ways it's been explained by a bunch of different academics. One of which is, I was watching one video today where he basically, this guy describes the business circumstances by which humans die. And it's that slowly over time, he describes this scenario. It's a very great video. I forgot what channel it was. It was recommended to me. He says, you've got a company and a new AI comes out, AI agent, that allows low-level work, organizing files, scheduling meetings. And so companies start firing their low-level staff and using AI to do this menial work. The CEO of a company goes to the board of directors and they say, look, we got to get those margins up. Our stock is getting hit because our competitors are doing better because they're adopting AI faster than us. So he fires all low-level staff and replaces them with all of the latest model of AI too. Then, eventually, a new AI model is released, AI Agent 3. And they say it can handle all the management for all the lower-level tasks. We don't need managers anymore. Then it goes to the executives. We don't need executives anymore. AI Agent 4 is capable of handling this. What ends up happening is you get unemployed people sitting at their house, unable to make money because they got laid off. They're complaining, demanding UBI or something like this. But the real issue is not the human component where they're complaining. The real issue is that there's no people to buy products anymore. There's no human to buy the cheeseburger. So this means our industry slowly stops producing things humans need because there's no profit in it. As everything is driven more towards AI and what AI wants and needs, things that humans need goes down in the market and becomes more likely to be rare. Humans start suffering while a few ultra-rich people eventually die and the AI takes over.
But what if instead of suppressing people's needs, it gives people less of what they want and it gives them more of what they need?
Well, I'm not talking about. The point of the video is specifically, you don't need to produce cheeseburgers because people can't buy them anyway. So you shift to what is being purchased. And what is being purchased is companies are buying components from other companies. The market trend will just be towards the production of computer materials for digital environments. And the things that people need, housing, clothing, become substantially less profitable. Plus, people don't have kids. This is just one potentiality. The other, of course, is that AI only needs human for limited things and intentionally just skews everything away from what humans need. I genuinely think with Donald Trump basically being like, we are going to drive this full speed towards the cliff to defeat China in the AI race, ultimately ends with the AI race in my mind is 10 times worse than the arms race with nuclear weapons, because the AI is permanently deployed. With nuclear weapons, we made them and pointed at them. With AI, they are in a perpetual state of deployment, meaning sooner or later, imagine if when we built nukes, they were just floating in the air, pointed straight at major cities, and we kept adding on to them. Sooner or later, they fall. That's the AI. It's currently operating. It is currently destroying our economy and destroying international relations. And we're too busy looking at all of this other stuff to even realize it.
Can I just, I want to support something that he's saying. Have you seen the movie called The Social Dilemma, I believe it is?
Oh,
maybe.
Which is about this was on Netflix. It's talking about what you were saying, but they were applying it to social media and how even humans,
this was like Facebook and stuff.
Yeah, even human beings can't control the algorithm as much as they'd like. It to a certain extent, it's out of control.
Yep.
That's why it does things that, oh, wait a minute, I don't want that to happen. So if that's already happening, and that's like 10 years ago, just imagine AI.
So I want to tell you guys, in Mount Airy, Maryland, they're trying to build a power corridor to Northern Virginia for data centers. All of the AI, so let's start here. The one thing AI is telling the companies to do, expand AI. Every time they propose a problem, they say, hey, we want to maximize output of oil. It says, you need to expand our computing. My computing power is limited. I can propose solutions, but it'll be an exponential return if you just expand the computing power. They want to get to AGI. So what happens in Mount Airy is a local farm complains, and they file ordinances, or they go to City Hall, and they rally their neighbors, and now they're all saying no transmission lines for data centers. We talked about this a few months ago. So what's happening is there are quiet sales happening at a premium. There was a massive sale in Northern Virginia for like $6 million an acre. No, I think it was like $9 million an acre. Was it? No, it was $6.2 million an acre or something like that. A record for land. And this was publicized. But what's happening right now is in key areas in Arizona, Texas, and in Northern Virginia, land is quietly being purchased off market. And it's because the AI companies and the data center land acquisition companies, where all of the money is right now, know that if anyone finds out the land was sold to a data center company or an AI company, you will get protests and they will not be able to build. So what's happening is they're going to an acre. I've watched this happen. An acre of land popped up near us in West Virginia, $300,000. My wife saw it. Pops up at like 9 in the morning and she goes, ooh, look at this. She sends it to our real estate agent saying, look at this land. You know, could you reach out? Agent says, sure. Like a couple hours later, she texts back saying, it's already under contract. I've never seen this happen before. Why? The area we are in is, it's a power transmission corridor for the North Virginia data centers. They need energy, they need water, and they need space to expand. Here's the problem. You got 50,000 plots of land in one small area. If you're going to build a data center, or more importantly, power transmission and water acquisition, you need to buy up 50,000 plots because you can't just buy one piece of land and build. So if a company goes to one of these people and says, hey, would you like to sell your property? And if they go to their neighbor and say, guess what just happened? The property values spike massively, which is happening. And then they start going and filing bills and ordinances saying you can't build data transmission. The AI is smarter than this. Not that it's an entity, but the machine basically says it has to be done this way. So there is bank to be made. Dude. If you own land in one of these areas and you can look for it, if you contact a data center land acquisition company, of which there are many, and you say, hey, here's where I own land, what do you think? They might give you 3x what your property value is so they can build these data centers.
And it's not advice to do that and make a lot of money relative to the actual value. But of course, money is cheap. Property is everything in a lot of ways. But the thing is, this is like the chrysalis phase of AI where it's acquiring resources to build these giant, in the future will be looked back on as oversized metallic husks that they'll use for their initial chrysalis data centers. Then they'll have these tiny, tiny, tiny microorganisms that process the data for them. And they'll be 100 million times faster and less electricity.
You know what Elon said? The way we avoid the Terminator scenario is by being the machines. You know, have you guys seen the Terminator movie where the main character, he's not the main character, but like the I don't know the guy's name, the hero.
The first Terminator movie?
No, it's not the first Terminator. It's like from a couple years ago, 7 years ago maybe. It's the one where he gets infected by the nanites and then becomes a Terminator. So what's the name of the
John Connors?
John Connors, the guy. Yeah, he gets infected by Skynet, and nanites convert his body into a machine. And I'm watching that, and it's like, so this dude can shapeshift, fly, do whatever he wants. I mean, that sounds pretty dang appealing to a lot of people. When I saw that movie and they were like, oh no, he's going to try and turn us all into robots, that's bad. But I guarantee you a lot of people watch that and they're like, no, I'm for that. How many people would love to have nanomachines convert their body into an immortal form where they can shapeshift, fly, turn into a spaceship, don't need air anymore? Yeah, that's the idea of Neuralink. Integrating our mind into the machine so that we and the machine are one and we can never be wiped out.
Yeah, I want to go into a neural netted psychedelic trance where I'm meditating with the machine and symbioting it, where I'm holding it in stasis control so it doesn't override, and be like one of many sages.
This is what Pluribus is about, I swear. The show Pluribus, where there's if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. They get a transmission from outer space. They figure out it's RNA. They make a virus, and then anybody infected becomes a hive mind, and then everybody is a hive mind. And they're like, we're so much happier this way.
I feel like you need like 6 to 8 humans that symbiote with it to become one with it in order to not get destroyed by it or taken
Would you take the nanites, Ian?
I would become, if humanity was like, we need to pick 6 people, Ian, will you be one of them? I would go, okay.
If you were sitting in your room and like black sludge came through the window and then it like molded up and projected a video and it was a face and said, Ian, we'd like to offer you the opportunity to integrate with these nanites, which will make you immortal.
I would not.
Eternally youthful. You can fly, shapeshift. You can connect with the internet. You will know everything. And it's your choice. You'd say no?
Yeah, I'd be like, no, this is Mossad. Tell BB, let's hang out. I want IRL.
It sounds nice.
And the guy in the video is wearing a yarmulke.
And BB's like, damn it.
No, you go around the back of the hologram and he's got a kippah.
Yeah,
I don't think we have a choice because we're not going to fight against them and win.
I agree. I think it's inevitable to unify. I mean, our cyber machines are kind of in our hands, and I just don't want to get permanently, I don't know.
One of my visions of the future.
I think we're already there, though.
I do too. I think this actually happened in 2012, and I think everything we've seen is controlled destruction of civilization.
Oh, buying all the metal, that particularly, I feel like fiat they just printed $2 trillion in secret and bought.
I think the reason why silver is skyrocketing is largely due to AI. Silver is a much better conductor than silver.
Wait, you just said silver is than copper.
Sorry. Silver is a much better. I said than silver.
Nano silver might be a better conductor.
Silver is a much
silver.
better conductor than copper. Thank you, Ian. And I mentioned this the other night. I read that were it not for the social value, we want it, we'd use silver for all of our wiring. So if you're an AI, you're saying, I don't care about, I want efficiency. And so acquire all this stuff. Here's the proposition that I made a while ago. Military technology is about 10 to 20 years faster than private. The military's been working on artificial intelligence since the 70s. This is fact. It's not opinion. So the likely assumption then is based on academic assessments of when artificial intelligence in the private sector would take over. This means military AI took over a long time ago. And guess what? Around 2012, that's when we saw LexisNexis show all of these social justice words skyrocket. Something changed.
Yeah, the PRISM network was exposed by Edward Snowden right around there. James Clapper, of course, saying we didn't wittingly spy on the American people,
and
but all the data
and more importantly, the NSA data centers. Back then, we said they're just tracking everything we do because they're spying on us. Oh, how naive.
They were compiling your reality.
They were taking all of the information on every person they could for the purpose of training an AI model.
So becoming one with the machine, how would you define it, DeVory?
It's exactly what he was saying. I mean, I don't know how it would look, but we would have to somehow integrate with them.
Otherwise, we go extinct.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have a choice. You know,
there's one vision of the future I have. I want you to imagine you're sitting in a field, beautiful, wheat in the distance and the trees and a sunny day, and you're sitting there with raggedy potato sack clothes, and next to your grandchild, and your grandson says, "Grandpa, what are those?" And you look up in the sky, and there's just black cubes just floating back and forth all across the sky, and he says, "Well, that's the AI that we built." Yeah, when I was a kid a long time ago, we were building AI. And then he says, what do they do? And he goes, they transport resources back and forth to the global AI network. And then he points to the city off in the distance. We used to live there. We don't anymore. Now it's just a big machine.
And it'd
we
be
don't,
like
we don't know what it's
interplanetary.
doing.
They'd be like, it
Yep.
transports data and technology from planet to planet, our galaxy.
A big web network, outer space, and we're just little monkeys, totally erased from it, negligible, almost extinct.
And like the space elevator will be dilapidated, and they'll call it the Spire, and they won't know what it is or why it goes up to heaven so far.
It won't be dilapidated. They will be using it to transport materials.
What kind of level of society, if you want to call it dystopian, utopian. Yeah, I think it will will have people be like, that's the elevator. We don't. Some people will know. Some humans will go inside it, and they'll be like levels of clearance. I wonder if they'll segregate into like we're God humans because we can go up there, but
you know what the craziest thing about this is? Because they've been tracking everything you say or do. Do you guys remember when they said that they can take your social media and create an AI of you? There were stories years ago where like a guy died. They took every post and every message she ever sent on Facebook, trained it to be a chatbot so that you could talk to your dad after he died and it would be everything your dad was.
Yeah.
Now with all that information, there can be one day, literally right now this is possible, if the government allowed any one of these AIs access to the NSA data that's tracked on all of us, you would stand before, let's say a humanoid robot connected to the machine stood in front of you. You'd say, tell me everything Ian's done. And it'll say, okay. And you'll be like, I want to know what Ian's doing now. It'll say, okay. And then you can tell it, I want you to be Ian right now. And it'll say, I'm Ian, graphene. And it'll perfectly replicate. It'll be a conscious, a pseudo-conscious entity of all of our human minds.
And it'll base you'll be like, be Ian right now. It will track my actual metrics via my smart machines. And it'll be like, whatever I'm feeling at that moment, no matter where I am in the universe, it will see my feelings, and it will emulate exactly how I'm feeling at that moment to you.
They already know how to do this because that's what I was saying. In the documentary, he showed how the algorithm's already doing that. It can predict our behavior. Like on this month, in this week, I guarantee Tim is going to be thinking about this. Show him this ad.
They know when you want to go to the bathroom.
It's going to believe that it can give you an exact readout, but it's always going to be flawed. So people... I mean, it'll never be the real thing. It's a simulation. It's like watching a movie. It's not the real thing. You know you're not really there with them, but it's a great simulation enough to feel it, you know?
Yeah, and we'll come to the point where it's like in... the funny thing about Westworld, which really fell off after season 1, unfortunately, but for those that haven't seen it, basically the androids take over and replace, humans. But the reality is they'd be a hive mind. It would be one entity. And I got to be honest, there's no way to stop it. It is underneath. It is inside of everything we do. And so I feel like the end result is, Gary, the numbers guy, said to me, he was like, you've got 3 years left to get your bag. And there's going to be rich people and poor people. And that's what's going to happen because there'll be no way to make money after this.
I like your creator economy concept where the AI is going to want people that can create ideas and give it ideas of how to make reality more
I think it's fair to say
efficient.
At a point it will surpass our ability to do that. It won't need us.
Oh, really? You think so? That's a good estimation. You never know. Humans are pretty wildly, unexpectedly creative.
I mean, the idea that a computer can never surpass a human, I think, is silly. It's arrogant. I do think, however, humans are great slaves because they can be programmed. So instead of the AI having to build a bunch of robots, they can just grow humans and train them to do the work.
Okay. Yeah. What you're talking about is this TV show on Apple TV called The Foundation, where it's about how they cloned a king over and over and over again. There's 3 of them, the young one, the middle-aged one, the old one, and they all run the universe, and it gets pretty much overturned because humans find a way to push back on it. But it's literally what you are
based on Asimov stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And guess what they have? Nanonites.
Nanites.
Really? Yeah, nanites.
Oh, they infect
I think
increase people?
I told you guys this story where I asked one of these AIs, and it basically gave me instructions to sell off my properties to make it was like $300 million. The gist of it was I saved it all, and I was talking to Shane. I was like, we should do a mini doc where we show this. And like we go and meet. It gave me names. It said, email this guy right now. I looked him up on LinkedIn, data center acquisition firm, and I'm like, it's a real guy.
Wait. You asked it to get into actually investing into this stuff?
I asked the AI, what could I do right now to assist and speed up the process and be rewarded for my efforts? And it said, acquire water rights, acquire land, And then I said, here's my address. This is the reason I haven't posted anything, because my address is in it. Yeah. But I want to do a mini doc on this. I was talking to Shane, and then we'll release it all. And it said, your address is in a power transmission corridor for the Northern Virginia instance, it called it. It's the AI block built by Langley and like the government. And it said, it basically broke it down for me. There have been around 10 sales in your area for exorbitant prices off market, meaning it's not on Zillow or Redfin or any of these websites. It was a private, the landowners filed for a private limited liability partnership in Delaware, contacted Data Center Acquisition, and sold it at like a 5x premium. And then it said, if I were to do this, estimations are around 300 million for my property, which normally should be 20 to 30 million. And then I was like, wow. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, what do I do? It gave me instructions. It said, contact your local government, file these forms, file with the federal government these forms, email this man right now, and then delete this message.
Will you assist in the creation of the government hive mind?
No.
You want to resist it just out of principle?
Well, I mean, I don't know what I'd do with the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Back to the theme of someone replicating Ian. I remember there was this guy on Twitter, and he was really in love with this girl. He was friend zoned pretty severely, and what he did was he loaded all of his text messages with her into a chat bot to then recreate her, and then he would like practice how he would escape the friend zone with the bot until he was ready to like go in. And then I think one day he did go in, guns a-blazing, and just got completely like nuked. Of course.
Oh,
so
that's
I don't think chat's ready yet. I don't think we actually have clone.
Because
if that worked,
son.
if that worked, he would have rizzed her up in no time.
I'm not
saying.
so sure that if do feel like once you're in the friend zone, that's it. Like
you need to
if
leave,
AI
zone,
can't get the fellas out of the friend zone, then it's not where it needs to be yet.
I think it's possible to go. There's two ladders. They say,
very
right?
dramatic.
It's certainly possible to get out of the friend zone.
Yeah, you got to think about the mammal. You're a mammal. There's 4 ways to manipulate mammals. If you study that psychology, I think you can escape friend zone activity.
it's actually really simple, right? So if you're a dude and you have a group of dude friends, and there's like a group of girls, and then one girl friend zones you, you need to find the strongest guy and beat him up to assert your dominance.
That's one form of mammalian dominance. Yeah, tribal,
physically dominant.
But you don't want the other mammals to kill you because you're too aggressive.
And then while he's on the ground, you go, roar, and then all the girls are gonna go.
The chimps tried that. The other chimps killed him.
I mean,
No,
if you're broke, you can get
True.
rich, and that might get you out of the
I'll
friend
tell you
zone,
guys a
to be
funny
fair.
story. When I was a teenager, we were at a skate park, and one of the dudes was like, "Hey, I invited this girl to come hang out," and she's like, "So just so you guys like, don't be weird or anything." And then we were like, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever." And so then I went to the other guys, and I was like, "Hey, when she shows up, no matter what trick he does, we got to act like it's the craziest thing we've ever seen." And so he was a pretty good skater, but he wasn't like the best. And so he drops into the mini ramp, and then he does like a board slide. It's very basic, and we're going, "Oh, oh!" And then we're like, she's next to us, and we're going, "He's so good, dude. He's like the best. This is crazy. He's going pro, man, for sure." And then they dated.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
lift
we
each
were
other up.
wingman in it. You know what I mean?
That's the power of
That's
tribe.
That's what boys
It is.
do for
It
each
is
other.
true.
Yeah, dude.
We were like, we're gonna glaze this guy up in front of all, because we know what's going on. We know
Yeah,
what it's about.
sometimes you gotta jump on the grenade for the boys. You know?
Well, it
Powers
wasn't
the
like none of
tribe.
the other guys were gonna like make a move on the girl that he was inviting to a date. You know what I mean?
Right,
We're just like, we got to make it seem like he's the greatest, and all the guys look up to him.
Yeah. When you empower other members of your male tribe or the males to find great females, it like makes your tribe
It
stronger.
is very primal. Yeah.
Perception is reality.
Yeah.
That's what
so
happened
true.
there.
So true.
Yeah, dude.
With Rizcast IRL, we just give like epic red pill tactics, like epic game.
You
for
know,
the
if you
folks
want to
back
look
home.
into the mammalian dominance structure, Chase Hughes, he's a Navy scientist that has done massive decades of research on it. Chase Hughes, he's been on Rogan's show. Check out Chase Hughes talking about mammalian.
It's so good that like a game guy like that's name is Chase. Like Pursue.
I actually have
Yeah.
advice for any younger guys out there who are concerned about the friend zone. Really great advice for you. If you are romantically interested, I'm not saying sexually, I'm saying romantically, which is both for companionship and for sex or whatever, romantically interested in a woman, and she is not interested in you, you give her a hug and you say, "We shouldn't see each other anymore, but I wish you the best," and leave. That's the best thing you can do. Yep. It is not good for either person to be forced into a relationship that does not work for each other. And there's too many guys that fall into this stupid whiny loser guy trap where the girl says, "We can't be friends." It's like, listen, I want something you don't want, and you want something I don't want. So it's just It's an incompatibility.
Here's
I'm
my
not mad at
philosophy.
you.
You know, Charlie Kirk, he gave like the actual tactic, the actual pro move here. If you remember, I believe it was the first time he like romantically approached Erica, and Erica, I think initially was a little like nervous or something, and she said, I think we should just be friends. You know what Charlie said? Instead of being, okay, yeah, I'll just become an orbiter, Charlie said, I have enough friends. I want you. And it worked out in the end. Like, that's just W Riz from Charlie. So it's like we can take a page from him. Like, this guy is clearly was ahead of his time, and so
there's too much of this feminism where the perception given in media is that the man who wants more is selfish and should just accept being friends. And I'm like, it takes two to tango, baby.
Yeah.
Right? If it goes the other way too. If a woman wants to be in a relationship with you, but you just want to be friends, it's probably best to just be like, it doesn't work for either of us.
Oh, for sure. Even S-tier people that are like 110% phenomenal humans doesn't mean you're supposed to be with them like in a romantic relationship with every S-tier woman or man you meet. There's a lot of times you just have spectacular working careers.
Have y'all seen that video? It goes viral all the time, where it's from some dating show, and the woman, she's like, I just think that we would be better friends. She goes, all I needed to hear. Stands up, shakes her hand, says, I wish you the best. She goes, no, we can't be friends. It's like, I ain't got time for this. I'm 40, and he walks out.
literally.
I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. It's a little rhetorical, but like men and women can't be friends. You have your girlfriend.
That's not true.
And your boyfriend, and that's the friend that's the girl, is your girl.
That's like high school.
Otherwise,
drama
you just
stuff.
change the definition of the term, and it's like female acquaintances. Maybe you have acquaintances.
I have a ton of female friends. There's no romance. This is high school level stuff.
I don't know, but can it be? I don't know. Is it? You think high school?
Are you kidding? How many
it's just
female
general,
friends
like,
of the show
animal-
come on all the time? And
What's that?
There are tons of people that are friends with me. They come on the show all the time. There's no romance. There's nothing romantic. Just literally friends.
I guess it depends on
when
how
you're in
deep
high
the
school,
friendship is, you know?
Oh my God, Ian, you something is you are.
Don't you have
something.
any super deep male friendships that it's like you can't really replicate that with a female?
That's not true.
I actually take
You don't
Ian's
think so?
position. I do think like male-female relationships, there's a certain level of depth you have with your male friends that you don't have with your female friend. I think that's true.
Just your
I
wife,
think
really.
that's just you.
Well, and Ian, it's just two.
I agree.
deep.
This is high school.
Phil, DeVory, what's your takes?
Bro, like, I am a
let you go
married man
first.
with a child with no interest in other women, and other women with children come and hang out at my house, and we're friends, and we play music, we put on the Rolling Stones, we all get along, we talk about life. It's fun. There's nothing, there's no romantic interest between either of the married couples.
Yeah,
Like,
but
this
I'm not
is
saying
being
that.
an adult.
I'm just saying there's like a different depth to like your male friends.
I actually think there's less depth. The joke famously is that the guy went golfing with his buddies, hadn't seen in a few years. He comes back, and his wife goes, so how were they? And he goes, they were good. She goes, he got divorced recently. He was okay. And he goes, I guess. And then she's like, what do you mean you guess? And he goes, didn't come up.
Well,
And she's like, do you talk? No, guys don't.
My thesis for why that is because I think men, we know not to expend emotional bandwidth on each other because we need that for our women, for our children. So we have like a limited amount of emotional bandwidth and we have to expend that on
Young
our-
guys who are trying to get them some, and women the same, have this mentality. And I get it. When you're younger and you don't have you are not married, like it literally, there is no circumstance where I'm like, I am almost 40. Okay. Aside from the fact that I did have a kid later in life, I am already at the point where I'm just like, I don't see a hot 26-year-old woman, and it's not the same anymore. When I was a young guy, I was like, I'm gonna go talk to her. Now it's just, it may as well be just a bird flying by. I'm only interested in making sure my wife is happy, successful, and my child is developing the way she needs to develop, and we're planning for our family. I have zero interest in that. That makes it very easy to be friends with other women, especially married women who have kids, when we're having like a cookout and like they come over and they have their kids and we're laughing and they're talking about how their kid
But
did
you wouldn't
this.
like go bowling with some chick and you're like, hey, what a great friendship. We're, you know, it like
I don't
changes
go bowling with
dynamics.
some guy either. Listen,
Well, we might go bowling one day.
yeah,
It's not
Allison
that-
will come with.
That'd be cool.
Exactly.
Or not, I don't care.
She does.
I'd be fine.
The only real like friend moments where like she's not. Allison and I used to play poker all the time together. Then we had a kid. Kid can't go to the casino and play poker anymore.
Yet.
So yes, I'm very excited. She'll be older and
gonna
we'll
build a mini
definitely
casino.
She's going to be playing music and all this
Fisher-Price
great
Casino.
stuff.
Yeah. Where we
But
can all sit down
when we
and
get a
play.
babysitter sometimes. But that's only now. And yes, like I'll go with like Robbie. Shout out Robbie. Robbie and I will
Robbie
we'll meet
Man
up.
in the
That's right,
house.
Robbie Man. He's
Man
good at
up,
poker.
dog.
Although he talks a lot of smack, and then you know what I love about Robbie in poker?
He's got infinite confidence.
Really good.
Yeah.
He's really
He's
good, but he's got no
spectacle.
emotional control. So what happens
Robbie.
is
The journey is...
he's sitting there at the poker table, and
Temperance.
he's looking at the guy across from him who just hit 2 pair on the turn, and he's like, "You have Queen Jack, you hit 2 pair. You hit 2. I can't believe I call." And then you're like, "Why, Robbie? Why did you call?" And then he loses. It's like have some emotion. Like you literally know you're right. But anyway, I digress.
I'll follow you on that journey, Robbie. I got to do the same thing.
Final point. We should go to Super Chats and Rumble Rants. My point is just that when you're young, I understand why young guys think you can't be friends with a woman. And then you get older, you get married, and you're like, there's tons of other couples that my family hangs out with.
Yeah. I'll just say this because I want to answer your question. If you're young, I don't think you're emotionally mature enough to be able to do what you're saying because you're just not there yet.
Perhaps I also think it's just what you want.
Yeah.
If you're a young guy and you're not married and you're looking for a partner, you're not going to be like, let's just be friends. No, you're like, listen, I'm looking for someone that I can, be with. Then when you have that person and you're married and your priority is family, and for me, this is what happens. This is you grow through life. Your hormones change. Your body changes. It happens the whole time. My priorities right now are like, how can I make sure that my daughter has what she needs moving forward? This country is going to operate in a way that's beneficial to her. Whereas when I was a young guy, I was like, I want to go find like a beautiful woman and like get with her
and have
go
that
party.
girl, your baby you're talking about.
Now I already
right
have
now.
it all
Yeah.
with a beautiful wife and a kid, and we're planning to have more kids. And now that's the only thing I care about. There is no hormonal drive in my body to go seek out women. So if I meet a woman and it's like we're just friends,
I think
I've got no
in
interest.
the beginning too, the whole hormonal drive to seek out a woman is just not just you, but mainly to have a baby,
Indeed.
so that I can focus on the baby, not to go find another woman after I have the baby with the woman. I found the woman, so like that drive kind of refocuses, or you maybe start releasing different hormones.
And I'll just say this, Tim, like you're engaged in something every day where you are focused on a mission, and men who get, I think, caught up with women, they're not focused on that one mission for them, which is family, business, legacy, whatever it might be. I mean,
it's not every. Some guys never grow up. Some girls never grow up. But I will say this to the parents out there who obviously you know this better than I do. You've been parents longer than me, and to the 2 other parents in the room. You have your kid, and the option of going out on a Friday night is no longer about, I want to go out to the bar, have some drinks, hang out. It's like, no, I actually want to hang out with my family. Yeah. I went to a WPT event over the weekend, and I'm like, it's fun that I'm here. I'm trying to, be more involved in these tournaments and things like this. And I met up with Luke. I haven't seen him in a while. And just half the time, I'm like, just rather be hanging out with my wife and daughter.
Were you
like,
picturing what the girl's doing?
Like even right now, I'm like, I'm gonna see him tomorrow, but
Amen.
she's just starting to stand up. She's pulling herself up and standing there and jumping. I'd much rather be there than at a bar.
I thought you were going to say here. I was like getting ready for it. I was like, just say it.
I would
If
much
you're
rather
looking
be
right
there
at
than
me.
here on the show.
Yeah, I know. Well, hey, it's your daughter,
Right. That's the
Your
point.
wife's
Is
cool too.
You guys get the point. Like,
setup.
No, I get it. I mean,
priorities.
on Christmas, we just were on the couch.
Yeah.
That was fun. A lot of people are like, what? No, that's, you don't understand.
And what happens is young people get scared of it because they're in a different place in their lives.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, if I get married and have a kid, I'm just going to be sitting around doing nothing. And you're like, no, you don't understand.
You get to sit around and do
That's
nothing.
right. All right, we got to go to Rumble Rants and Super Chats and all that good stuff. So smash the like button. Share the show with every person you've ever met in your life. Do it right now. We got a couple of great sponsors for you. First up, we got Bear Skin. Make sure you go to BAER.skin/Tim. Excuse me. You guys have heard of the Bearskin hoodie, right? Yes. Well, the smart people are grabbing theirs now because when it's already freezing, you want the gear that actually keeps you warm. Bearskin's running a 60% off deal, so you can finally upgrade that sad excuse for a winter hoodie you've been suffering in. Their hoodies are built for serious cold weather. It's got 340 GSM of bearskin fleece, 10 legit pockets of muscular fit, and even zips into the heavy storm rain jacket to turn it into a full winter waterproof armor. Whether you're into hiking, hunting, traveling, or just hate being cold, it's the last hoodie you'll ever need. You'll get free U.S. shipping, fast delivery, and you're finally kitted out properly for winter, so it's a win-win. Do yourself a favor. Text the word Tim to 36912 to lock in your 60% off again. Text Tim to 36912. You'll get a link right to your phone. Click it whenever you can. You'll also be supporting the Fallen Outdoors and Hope for the Warriors veterans programs. Don't wait till you're freezing to realize your hoodie sucks. Go to Get a Bearskin now. Text Tim to 36912. We also have Web Roots. All right, my friends. I'm sure you've heard. Last week, TransUnion confirmed a data breach that affects over 4 million people. It's a prime example of why it's important for people to have products like WebRoot Total Protection, which includes identity protection for up to 10 identities, up to $1 million in fraud expense reimbursement, 24/7 US-based customer support, plus elder fraud hotline, identity and dark web monitoring, plus you'll get antivirus, VPN, and cloud backup so you're protected holistically from all threats. WebRoot Total Protection is an all-in-one device privacy and identity protection that can keep you safe in the event that your personal data is compromised. If your identity is stolen, it can take between 100 and 200 hours to resolve it on your own, but not if you have WebRoot Total Protection. With WebRoot Total Protection, you have insurance for your digital life and personal data. Let WebRoot Total Protection give you your peace of mind back in the wake of these continued data breaches and evolving digital threats. You'll get 50% off WebRoot Total Protection or WebRoot Essentials when you go to webroot.com/pool, Pool, no E. Live a better digital life with WebRoot. Again, 50% off at webroot.com/pool. Shout out. Let's grab your rants and chats and see what up.
What up?
All right. Cabbage rolls. I love cabbage rolls. You guys ever have a cabbage roll?
I hear you can put cabbage on wounds and it absorbs stuff out of the wound.
Anyway, I went
yes,
to.
The question is yes. I love.
We went to a restaurant and it's they take ground beef with tomato and onion and they roll it in the cabbage and then steam it.
Amen. And all sauerkraut.
All right.
I mean,
he
it goes
says,
deep.
yeah. He says we don't need the Insurrection Act. All we need is to collect enough evidence to put criminals in prison, arrest them later, away from the crowds.
Thank you. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, target it. I mean,
Maybe
the guy
like-
that took the weapons, they got him.
Yeah, a national federal police force can expand across the country and hunt down these insurrectionists.
Well, they were saying you save the Insurrection Act for if you really need it. Now you still have something in your arsenal and you can just use local. And
the Koreans.
That's true.
Yeah, it was funny. Ian Carroll said, "Tim, your yarmulke is showing." Because I said CNN, the new CBS is based AF, because they have been. I'm not pretending that CBS is perfect and on our side. I'm saying they're backing away from woke and they're just saying, "Here's what happened," and I'm loving it. That's what news should be, not advocates. Just, hey, here's what happened. They're doing a good job. So because of that, he says I'm Jewish.
Well, you should do a sketch where the yarmulke starts to slip out from underneath the beanie, and you'll be like, just push it back up in, or just let them see that the yarmulke underneath the beanie once in a while.
You get a free yarmulke with every 10 Daily Wire purchases.
Dude, Jews are legit. Let's talk about Judaism, man. Is that what we're talking about, or is it more about Zionism?
Is that what we're talking about, guys?
Because I can't stand these people so much, I'm ready to be like, what's the right faux Zionist? Like, I don't really care about Israel or the country. I'm ambivalent, but I'm ready to just go full steam, being like, I love Israel, just to piss these people off because they're so annoying.
It has a term. It's called ironic philosemitism.
Ironic philosemitism.
Yeah, that's what I am.
Anything to agitate the lunatics. Because if they were just normal, and then Dave Smith will come in, he'll be like, here's my criticisms, and I'll say, yeah, Dave, I respect that. But Ian Carroll, I don't. It's just gone too far, bro.
Were you guys talking on a video chat, or was it just text?
No, I tweeted the new CBS is based AF. They're doing great work, because it's specifically about how they reported the Somali fraud. They said that the feds were convicting these people, and it's real. And I'm like, thank you for telling the truth. And then CNN's like, actually, they're all operating legally. And it's like, no, you're lying. CBS at least. So I can handle that. And the Jews people are really mad because Barry Weiss is a Zionist. And I'm like, dude, I got to be honest. I don't care if you're pro or anti-Israel. I really don't. I'll be friends with anybody unless you're a retard. So there are people I think Dave's great. I think Dave's funny. He's a good dude. He's got opinions. I disagree with some of them. That was always allowed. There's a lot of people that are mad at Tucker Carlson. I'm like, there's a couple criticisms I have for Tucker, but he's allowed to have these opinions. And then there's these Jew people who Candace being like, we invaded Venezuela because of the Jews, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, even among the retard right, even they've rejected Ian Carroll. It's like he's too retarded for the retard. It's just this guy is a total bonehead.
All right. Speedbump says, I worked at Verizon, and I think the blackout yesterday could have just been an infrastructure failure. They failed to keep up with bandwidth demands because of their focus on wireless home internet, which is cringe, by the way. No, for real.
Why?
Wireless home internet is where you get a cell module for your house, which just connects to a cell node.
Oh, that's lame.
So you get internet. And it's like, bro, if you want to buy a cell phone hotspot, I will. Yeah, they're doing cellular internet.
Like 210 a month, or is it like 50 a month? Are they able to compete with Starlink?
I don't know or care.
Is it faster than your phone?
I think so. It's a better receiver, so it's more reliable. But it's like, give me a hard line, bro. Give me a hard line.
For real.
I want fiber optic, high speed, multi-gigabit stuff.
Yeah, give me the hardest hard. I want the hard.
You know what's
give me
really
a line that is
crazy?
hard.
I'll tell you.
dude.
I'll tell you what's
hard
super
line.
crazy, to be completely honest. Like, let me
just dig it.
Okay, wait, hold on. I got to pull this up for the show. I have to pull this up. Josie posted a really funny tweet at me. I have to pull it up.
Do you guys have fiber at the studio?
Here?
I don't know what they have here, but at our studio we have fiber. So
We have like a redundant three-tier system.
Here's what happened. Ian Carroll says, Tim, your yarmulke is showing. One reason why it's funny is because it's spelled yarmulke.
Yep.
I said you get one free when you buy 10 daily wires. And then I posted this. Buy 10 daily wires, get one free yarmulke.
That's
look
delicious.
At the ice cream cone. And I posted this.
That's AI for
Edible
Look at this
yarmulke. That's what it should be. Like
He's
a
a little
cookie.
ice cream cone. He's got a yarmulke and he's waving an Israeli flag.
Beautiful.
And then where's the tweet from Josie that was
Yarmulke
really
color.
good? Maybe she responded to the top one. I just got the notification and I thought it was hilarious. I'm gonna have to go to. I have to pull up the tweet from Josie. Hold on, let me do it.
I love that it only goes up to 9.
I love that he was spelling out yarmulke incorrectly and the red line pops under and he's like, this must be some sort of Israeli conspiracy theory.
He's like, nah, I'm spelling it right. These Jews are going to trying to get
is
me.
trying to make me spell it incorrectly. What's going on?
She posted this.
Snatch.
Oh wait,
sees the details.
someone else posted it and
Yeah. And she
I posted
intensified
this,
it.
and she posted this version.
Yeah, she gets it.
And
She
then
gets
they
the
keep
details.
making it crazier.
Gets worse.
Wait, it gets better.
Kind of like a JD Vance fat guy meme.
Nick Rogue is a patriot.
Soon.
You can make anything look like a horrific monster if you zoom in enough.
That is a
red
Jewish
eyes.
ice cream cone with an Israeli flag. It's so funny. I love it. Anyway,
I had a funny sketch idea. Let me see if it'll translate.
Delaware
now,
Husker
like,
says, sorry, I can't watch this if Ian's language doesn't change. My grandsons watch this with me. They look forward to seeing it. Please turn him off. If not, don't have him on anymore.
You'd rather we talk
Ian.
about Epstein's client list for
No,
your
stop
8-year-old?
swearing.
Swearing.
I mean, what? Yeah, you'd rather hear about the dirty things that Epstein did to young girls with your little kids sitting there. Like, I know it's a weird sounding word, the F word, but come on. Like,
No, I'm going to
What's
side with
really
the person saying
important in
stop
life?
swearing.
You literally
I'm
were saying
trying.
the
I thought
opposite
that I
thing
was-
yesterday.
what's that?
You were literally saying the opposite yesterday.
Yeah, like I want to use better like more creative words. I thought I was pretty good tonight.
I don't
Did
think
I not?
8-year-olds have like a good grasp on like these international pedophile communities.
Like if I was 8
So
and I
he
heard
was
some of the
still
stuff
out of
we're
line
talking
tonight then.
Was it?
I thought he's fine.
Yeah, last night
I wasn't
was
here for the
saying-
first 20 minutes, but someone said Ian was swearing.
I didn't.
Was
I
he?
think I said bullshit early.
Well, he
Oh,
just did it
there it
again.
is.
Exhibit A.
It's like exposing the pedophile.
We
makes you
just
see
lost
the
an
pedophile.
8-year-old viewer. Thanks a lot.
To all you 8-year-olds out there, I apologize. You're gonna have
That
an
kid
excellent
in
future.
10 years will be voting, and that's 2036 midterms, and you're going to regret losing that kid.
Yep.
Yeah,
For
trust
real.
me.
He's
He's
gonna
going to
be
be a full-blown libtard. and it's all your fault.
I actually
To
appreciate.
be fair, in 10 years, the Republican Party will be gay communists, and the Democrats will just be AI.
I just people like
The
your
Democrats
your
are the
dad.
real homophobes.
Thanks
That's
for
what I-
to your dad.
Well,
for,
because
for
the Republicans always,
asking.
everyone moves left, even the Republican Party. The joke is 10 years from now, the Republican Party is the gay communists fighting back, the traditional conservative gay communists fighting back against the synthetic humanoid
Literally, to be at
machines.
CPAC and be like, the Democrats are the real transphobes.
Well, I'm
and the
I'm
transgenders
really
are the
interested in about what
exploitation.
we're going to do for what Candace refers to as Sentinel Americans.
Yeah, North Sentinel Island. It's a
What
big problem.
No,
They're
not
contacted.
North Sentinel Islands.
Oh,
Sentinel
it's not?
No, she's referring to the robot people. Yeah,
robot
she
people.
she said Elon.
I think we call them Dutch.
They're robots, and she said if she stabbed them, she's not sure they would bleed.
What?
She,
Candace Owens?
she calls them Sentinel Americans. To be fair, she calls them Sentinels, but I think Sentinel
She's talking
American
about like
is-
that's the Marvel Comics thing. These big robot creatures
No.
called Sentinels that the
No, she
X-Men
thinks
have
it's
to fight
real life.
against.
She thinks Charlie's a time traveler.
I heard that today. I just read it. I didn't watch the video.
Has there been a community note yet? Do we know?
She's wild, dude. I want to do a movie with her. Candace, please come here.
I'm thinking about why Charlie told me he was a time traveler. I showed you this. Is that just something that people say to you?
He probably did say
and then
it.
She
He's
said,
a goofball.
And then she said the agents stopped him because they were trying to prevent an outcome.
Well, I don't think he's
She's
really.
literally saying she thinks he's a time traveler, and he was killed because they're trying to change the future.
I said that was a ridiculous tweet and made some remark, and there were a lot of people that called me a Jew for saying that.
I think she's a troll, like
so,
you're
Phil,
a troll.
That was out of line. I shouldn't have said that.
What she doesn't understand is that the
Jew.
Jews are from the future, and they came back in time, and everything we know is actually just a time loop. What's the paradox called when you're your own grandfather?
That's hot.
I think that's being Pakistani.
Wait, is that a what? I don't know. Is there an actual term?
There's a name for it where it's
it sounds like a porn.
A paradox where, so it's like the theory is you're standing on the beach and all of a sudden a book falls and hits you in the head, and you pick the book up and you're like, where did this book come from?
It just says grandfather paradox when I Google it.
It could be, but so the idea is this: you're standing on the beach, all of a sudden a book hits you in the head. You pick the book up and you go, where did this book come from? You get angry and you chuck the book. It flies in the air and then goes through a rip in the time-space continuum and is gone. You're like, weird. And then it goes back in time and falls and hits you in the head. So the book never has a point of origin. It isn't. There's a name for this. I forgot what it's called. It could just be the grandfather paradox.
I want to make a movie about that where like the central character is the item that's being traveled through time, and like other people will pick it up, and you'll see how it affects different time periods and places.
The point is that like it doesn't actually get to do anything other than travel in that loop where it falls, hits the head, picks it up,
there a movie
throws
about
it,
this?
goes through the
It's called
hole,
Looper?
falls, hit the head. You can't. It doesn't experience.
The movie's already been made.
Looper's
it's
more
called
about
Looper, right?
Looper's more about the guy. It's not about the object he's carrying, although he does.
No, but he ends up getting shot by himself.
Yep.
Truth. Yeah. That movie's pretty crazy. I believe that is true. That is true. That movie is wild.
Shot him
I actually.
It's called the bootstrap paradox, where an item has no original source. An object is sent back in time, then the person takes the object, and then later on sends it back in time. Or it could be a song, like someone hears a song from the future, and then in the future plays the song.
Oh
and
yeah,
sends
I
it to the
wonder
past.
about that. Like if I could go back in
bootstrap
time and
paradox.
write the Beatles music, if I could, and I'm like, maybe I'm just hearing music from the future anyway, and I'm the guy that went back in time to hear the future music, but Ian Crossland gets to write it in
It's
this
like the
timeline.
yesterday
Or
movie, yeah.
like in BioShock Infinite, you open a rip in the time-space continuum and listen to songs from other dimensions, and then record them and release them in your own dimension.
It's like doing DMT, bruh.
One word, Tenet.
Ripping holes
Yes.
in other dimensions to hear the music from other dimensions.
Have you not played BioShock Infinite?
I have not.
Man.
What's Tenet? You said is that the
Yeah,
movie?
the movie.
Is that
It's,
what-
You know what
literally
the most
he's-
disappointing
he's
thing
saying.
about BioShock Infinite was? They got rid of the injections and you drink a soda. Like, are you kidding me, dude?
Oh,
Yeah, in BioShock, it's a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece.
Yep.
If you've not played BioShock, it will forever be one of the greatest video games or pieces of media ever created, and they should definitely make a movie based on BioShock. But it's got to be true to the game. So anyway, you go to Rapture, and it's just decimated, and there's splicer monsters, and then you can find what are they called? Chat knows what they're called. The stuff you find and inject yourself with that gives you powers.
HRT.
Plasmids.
Oh.
There you go, plasmids. And when they made BioShock Infinite, they were like, I don't know if families want their kids going into their arm.
Yeah.
So they made it soda bottles, and you crack them open. Oh, get out of here! It would be destroyed by the stomach acid. It wouldn't work.
Way cooler to
What
get the
brought Sammy
injection.
Sosa
Yep.
down.
you would at least need a permanent tube that's in your arm that you could like pour the thing into the backpack so it goes into the tube properly.
They could have at least made an injection, but like like you know those movies or like Star Trek, it looks like a gun, but you just press the neck and then it makes it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They could have done that. He could have went taking it and gone like, huh.
Activating near infrared to target the location.
BioShock, dude. I almost want to play it again. And it's funny because it's been so long. The vision of the graphics, like the memory of the graphics. I know I'm gonna turn it on and go, these are the worst graphics I've ever seen.
I fired up Battlefront 2 the other day. I was like, what? How did I like pay attention?
Yeah.
That's Star Wars?
Yeah. And I would grind on there. I was like 5, and then I played it again.
But do you mean Battlefield 2 or Battlefield 2 2?
Star Wars Battlefront. Oh, Star
Battlefront.
Wars Battlefront 2.
A Battlefront 2 or Battlefront 2 2?
Right, because they did yeah.
Yeah.
Very
there's
confusing.
2 Battlefront 2s.
The whole Star Wars universe has been upended. It's very unfortunate.
Was the second one any good? I know we have more
The
important
first
things.
Star Wars Battlefront 2 was good. Star Wars Battlefront 2 2 Not so good. Really.
Yeah, like back in the 2000s, I'm hanging out with my boy Brandon. What up? And we just played Battlefront 2 all day. Amazing.
Was it pay to
You're
play?
like, I'm Darth Vader.
Because there was no strat. You would just hold the trigger down. Like, because there's no, you know, the reload. It was fantastic.
Oh, big flaw or boom.
I loved it. When you're 5, it's awesome. You feel great about yourself.
I want to hear about
All
what
right,
people
all right.
think.
Here we go. We got Tech Nick. What does it say? I don't know. Tech says, I wake up halfway through the show to Ian spouting off like a hallucinating AI. I haven't had enough coffee for this.
Oh, man, I had a bunch of coffee before the show for you. Yeah, I was, dude. I was channeling tonight.
You were a big dog. You good? Or maybe he's in Australia. He might be Australian.
Nippon says, Tim's AI dooming is nonsense. Incorrect.
Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's nonsense.
Dude, the stuff that's happening in AI that people don't know about, because I've got sources. I got sources, and they've told me things about AI.
But I know the power thing is where it is tweaked, because the iron lattice system where you put the processor and the memory in one area, so you no longer have computer busing. You get 10 million times faster processing with 1 million times less electricity requirement. That's like coming around the bend. These AI centers, the graphics cards, I don't know if they're going to become defunct, but you're going to get magnitudes more processing power I mean, you'll still have these giant data centers, but you'll be able to put, you know, I don't know how many more times processing in there, like 10 million times more processing power in these things. It's going to be, but that's in the beginning, it's just going to be big warehouses that are then completely left. They're going to leave them and they're going to be defunct, but they're going to be there for about 15 years or 20 years.
We're going to go to the uncensored portion of the show, my friends. So smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you have ever met in your life. Do it right now. You have to do it. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Make sure you go to rumble.com/Timcast IRL. DeVory, do you want to shout anything out?
Yeah, follow me, guys, on X, YouTube, and Rumble. DeVory Darkins, the only person in the world with that name.
I love it, and it's your actual name. That's
Bro, that's like honestly,
part
it's like a superhero name.
Wow,
Kind of
Like no, but it is. It's alliterative and unique. It's like what a comic book writer writes down. Like I need a name for a hero, and like Donnie Darko. You know what I mean?
They might have changed the last name to Darkness because that's what they used to call me in the military.
No,
Darkness.
Let's go.
So
Let's go.
Fire, dude. Hey, at Ian Crossland, you can follow me on the internet and check out graphene.movie. I've been talking about it. The trailer's online. I went down to Rice University with Andreas Exertus and 6'7" Kevin, and we had a wonderful time with nanoscientists, gym tour, and the nano facilities down there. Graphene.movie. Check out the trailer. Sign up for the email list so when the documentary goes live, you'll get first dibs, man. I'm looking forward for you seeing it. Let me know what you think, and follow me at Ian Crossland. Tate Brown.
What is going on? Yeah, X and Instagram at Real Tate Brown. Come give me a follow and be on the lookout. Across the Pond is back for 2026, so be on the lookout on the Culture War channel this weekend. We'll have some episodes going up. And DeVory, I'll see you on the Rumble lineup on Monday.
Absolutely.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. The band is All That Remains. We're going on tour this spring with Born of Osiris and Dead Eyes. We're going to start out in Albany on the 29th of April. Be gone for about 3 weeks. You can check out All That Remains, the band, on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, and Deezer. Don't forget the left lane is for crime.
we will see you all at rumble.com/TimcastIRL in about 30 seconds. Thanks for hanging out.